Well, this is footage, folks, of my son who was in Vegas. We were at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament. That's why I'm just now commenting on the Micah Parsons trade. But in this video, you'll see this dude tried to break his arm, man, and he got out of it or whatever. But an arm barred him. So I was having my little proud dad moment. But that's why I wasn't available to comment on Micah Parsons. So we're gonna get into it in a second. I'm gonna let a few of y'all join up, and then we'll get after it. Let's go. Where everybody at? There we go. It's like two of y'all in here. Let's see. Got him. All right, tab D mind is going. Mhm. Johan Jordan, what's up, man? How you? You said three. What's the three? Oh, he's just three people in. You said. Good afternoon, Loving Aries. What's good, Miss the Realist? What up, Judas Redemption, Agent Nine? What's good, Brian Manning? How you, bro? Chris Robinson, good to see you again. Dwayne Bradford, what up? He said, "What's happening, fam?" What's up, y'all? Joel Johnson, DC for life. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for life. Mano, what's up, man? Hey, man, you still MIA? My brother's still MIA since the last time I told y'all he was MIA. He ain't came back since, man. He ain't came back since, man. I don't know what's up with him, man. I still live here, man. I'm still in the same spot. I ain't moved a house or nothing, man. I'm still here. Where you at, man? Ain't called to check or nothing, man. I said, what's up with him, man? Is that good to you, brother? You know what I'm saying? Gotta get you. Can't be what? You gotta whoop that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna fuck with you though, live, because I know how you be, man. He be trying to censor me, man. He gonna come over here and try to fight me. I don't want no trouble, man. I don't want no trouble. Cowboys Thanos, what's up, man? He said, what up, King? Blast Media Network, what's up? Lab in the building. Albert A, what's up with you, man? Uh J Rees Allen, what's up? He said, hoping Kenny Clark is the next Ratliff. Chris Robinson, our best player. Uh, you that guy, let's get it. Thanks, VI Cowboy. Ty Church, what's up? Mike 610. He said, we're cooked, bro. This organization will forever be a joke. I'll put a pin in that. If we'd have went the other route, I think you might have been right, actually, though. And me initially, as a fan, was pissed off too. So I get your sentiment, but let me explain later on. Hold on a second. Brandon DeVinson, what up? He said, cookout tomorrow, bro. Oh no, we ain't having one. If you having one, I mean, I might slide. So just what I mean, hit me up. You know what I mean? Yo, don't invite nobody nowhere, man. He be out, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. And Brody don't even move like that. So I know whatever's happening with you, bro. You happy over there, man. I'm gonna leave you alone. Though. I got crud in my eyes and shit. I ain't even tell me. Yeah, that's crazy. Michael Green, what's up? Sadiqa Charles, LaWayne, he said, I really enjoyed your film work on Mozzie. I wish people understood ball. Ah, man, ain't that something? You know what's crazy? I was reluctant to defend Mozzie because, Mozzie, obviously, I think he needs to grow. You know what I mean? If someone was having that argument, we wouldn't have an argument. Everybody who said they don't like him, I don't care if you don't like him. But this is his third year, and I'm interested in seeing what he does, right? Because people change. Like I feel like the Rocky Four, where he's like, people change. Players evolve into what they're gonna be, or they flatten out. And I don't think that he's peaked because I've only seen flashes. I couldn't argue with anybody who did that, right? But when you started lying on his name, so on, and I'm like, okay, we're not gonna do that either. And to be quite honest, the impact it definitely is effective because and the reason I did is because the initial attack on him, on Mozzie, that is, the initial attack on him got a lot of views, right? And it made it so much so that it started being on the Dallas Cowboys news circuit. Questions were being asked to the coach about it. So we had to balance that out. And you can see those conversations are heard. The things we say do matter and they are heard in the community and with the team itself. So with that said, it had to be done because you had to give a balanced approach. So they forced me to put that out and to really go hard for him because who else gonna do it? Ain't nobody else gonna. Everybody else just gonna shit on him because it looks popular to shit on him. Just like right now, it seems popular. To your point, to shit on the Cowboys or to crap on the Cowboys. I'm gonna try to curse a little less. I'm not angry. I just have I got a vocabulary. I can stop cursing, right? I think. I don't know. I'll be flowing, so it just come off the top. That's what it is. But anyway, a lot of people are looking at the Cowboys in a negative light due to the fact that they seem to have traded the best player on their team, which I agree with. He is the best. He was the best player on the team, I think. The things that took place leading up to it, a lot of the things that they confirmed or that Jerry confirmed and Micah did not deny that happened, they make me think a little different though. So initially, I'm like, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" But for Jerry to do that and to pull that move after a couple of days before, saying we got you for 3 years, regardless, it lets you know that whatever took place, which I think is just Micah trying to start the season on the injury list due to his back. That's what I heard anyway. I don't like to report rumors, but excuse me, that's what I heard. So if that's the reason, I get Jerry saying, okay, this is the last straw. We just, you know what I mean? You don't want to be here, we don't want you here, right? But the things leading up to that, like the verbal deal, I said this before I left. I'm like, listen, if I sit down with you as a man and I'm the one that has to be happy with a deal, and you sit down and you have to be happy with a deal, I agree with Jerry on that, where if we agree to terms and shake hands or just verbal agreement, and you're happy with what we agreed to, and then now the agent's supposed to be a formality. But what sounds like is that because Micah asked for the conversation. If he didn't ask for the conversation, I would look at it as Jerry manipulating him. But if you flew in and you say you want to get this done and you come and ask for the conversation, if I'm Jerry, it's not my responsibility to say, hey, make sure you bring your agent when you have that conversation. If you say, hey, I want to come have a conversation with you one-on-one because this is how your pretenses of doing the deal are, like you look like this is how you want to do the deal. Like he has the right to do that. Micah Parsons has the right to say, hey, I want to talk to you about my deal. And they can come up with an agreement. And then just like any other attorney, he goes to red line and it's just a formality after the fact, right? Make sure you guys get the likes up, get the subscribe button, all that. Hit the Cash App too, because this ain't free. I sit up here, do this a lot. So do your thing, man. Show some support for the support that I'm showing for the nation. But where was I? Anyway, if he came in and he had that conversation in earnest, right? And now the agent is supposed to be a formality, but now what it looks like is he got his hand slapped because he's like, hey, I could have got you, everybody in hindsight is 2020, right? And it looked like he got his hand slapped, and then he said, hey, don't call me no more. After they had already had a negotiation, they had calls back and forth that were okayed, right? Now, you could have put Dave on the phone on three-way, on mute. Micah didn't call his own agent. Micah did not tell his own agent that he was negotiating. That's what people are not talking about. If you call and say you want to come in one-on-one, if you demanded the agent then you could have that argument and say, they don't want to meet with me and my agent. Okay. Then you would have this leverage that everybody's saying he has that he's standing on. But if you call and start the conversation without your agent, that is on you, bruh. Okay. And then if y'all come up with a deal and then at the end of the day, you renege on that deal, that is on you, but either way, if you look at the way Jerry phrased it, he still wanted him here, even though it was going to be an uncomfortable situation, right? Now, there's two ways I look at it. You could have been Micah and Jerry really did deteriorate in real life, in real time, right? That's what I thought initially anyway, and that's why he got traded. So the storyline, the story arc that I just started on, and I'm gonna give you another one in a second. So stay with me, pay attention, right? So Micah having issues, right, with Jerry at the end because he wanted to start the season on the injury list. That's why he was, summarily sent to the Green Bay Packers, right? Okay, but really not even. I don't think it was more than what we was offering. We was in the same ballpark, so that's an issue, right? And then the way you look at that is, if you're Micah, there's two issues that I have with that. You asked for the conversation and didn't keep up with the word that you gave. So you didn't ask. You asked for that conversation. Hold on a second. Let me see what you're saying. We all good. We all good. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So you asked for that conversation and didn't hold firm to your end of the bargain. You didn't hold up your end. Okay. That's one way you're looking at it. And then it puts you in a a really minor situation when it comes to your agent, because it seems like you were happy when you left, you were happy when you had your phone conversations, and then your agent was not happy that you excluded him, and you got your hand slapped, and then you started the process all over again with agent who really just came in and gave Green Bay the same deal that you already had. Kind of, maybe the years are different, but you would have been here. You want to be here for life anyway, so you're going to take that type of deal, and we're giving you more guaranteed money. He would have took, it's the same deal. It would have been a similar deal anyway. 41 million versus 43 a year. And then you're in Dallas, a major market. So you're going to make up other money and incentives and deals that you're doing with Jerry and visibility and everything else, right? Bleacher Report, all that other stuff, right? So it was a substantial deal that was offered. A substantial enough that if you really want to stay home, they didn't get you with the New England BS team friendly deal. They gave you a deal, right? So if you wanted to be here and home, you would be. Or you don't have the authority to make that call, which seems kind of weird. So it's not that. That lets you know that, if it was about, hey, I want to be here and I want to get a deal done. If that's where we were, we would have had a deal done. If Micah is in charge and not his agent, and he says, hey, I want to be in Dallas no matter what, he would be in Dallas no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Or is it that he doesn't have the authority? Which one is it? So, get what I mean? Who is in the driver's seat in that situation? Who knows? That's his business, though, right? But that arc I went down, that's where everybody pretty much seems to be right now, as far as the news is concerned, when it comes to Micah Parsons and how he got traded. But once I was in Vegas, and I'm glad I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas with my son. And if I wasn't in Vegas, he had a jiu-jitsu tournament for those who weren't here for the beginning. Guy tried to break his arm. He did. I'm proud of my young boy. But if I wasn't in Vegas, I would have been commenting real time, other than just Twitter. I know some of y'all saw what I did on Twitter, but I would have been commenting real time with my emotions about how I felt about it, and I would seem like I'm flip flopping because one day I felt this way, next day I got more information, felt that way. Then I was like, oh, all right, okay, I kind of see what's going on. But while I'm down there, it's like, okay, what the hell is happening in the world? Because when it initially happened, I thought what everybody else thought. But what just came out the other day while I was on my way back, I was on the plane, I was listening to all the players, rumors of the players not liking certain things about Micah Parsons, and then the Malik Hooker clip came back up, and then Mark Holmes did a video. I watched his, and he was talking about he just had other clips about players not really liking Micah Parsons. And then I thought back to, actually showed this clip too, the Baltimore Ravens game where apparently him and DeMarcus Ware had a fist fight at some point. I don't know if it was that game, but I've seen them argue on the sidelines quite a bit. So what seemed to be this, right? You have two guys in DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, both of which play a lot of hero ball, both of which want to be leaders on the team, right? But leadership is earned and it's represented. Like people, you don't have to tell people to follow the guy with the light. They can see who got the light. Now, if you were that guy, you would be, someone that people will listen to because of your process. Like Sean Lee probably doesn't have a problem. He's not even a loud guy, but I guarantee you, if he says, "Hey, guys, gather up," they all listening and ain't nobody arguing with his ass. If he says, "Hey, man, get to your fucking," excuse me. See, I said I was going to curse. Hey, get to your points or get to your keys. Nobody's going to curse Sean Lee out. You know what I mean? Because he's prepared. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Right. And if they do, it won't be as often as those two seem to have been going back and forth. But there was a power struggle there due to the fact that DeMarcus Lawrence had seniority. He's older and he's like, you, the youngin' coming in. And then Micah Parsons came in and took off on him because he got injured. And it seemed that behind the scenes, there may have been a little rift with the power dynamic. Micah, his play and his all-pro status, probably feeling like, hey, I got the right to kind of like take over this team. This is my team. And then DeMarcus Lawrence saying, hey, I'm not your young ball. And both of them playing too much hero ball. So to be honest, that clip that he brought up, though, made me understand that there has been a lot of drama behind the scenes as it pertains to Micah Parsons, his behavior, both on the sideline and his podcast, right? I was up and down. You guys heard me comment quite a bit about the podcast too, because I was up and down about it. I said, Uh, Sometimes it's like, okay, I can kind of understand it because of what Kelsey's doing, but then I look at Kelsey as like kind of later in his career, his brother's retired, and the things they talk about are not the things Micah Parsons talks about. They talk about like lifestyle, life, and they kind of like cavemenly go through different topics, but it's not like I'm breaking down my team or breaking down my opponents or parlaying with my opponents and during the season. It's like not saying that people don't call, players on other teams like they didn't go to college with these guys and they know them off, during the off season. They probably do, but it's poor optics. It's just bad optics after you take a L and you're laughing and joking with the enemy immediately. I just said that. Now you could still do it. I'm not hating on you doing it. I just look at it as that's just bad taste, right? So I can understand how players feel that way, especially when you're not winning, because I look at it as like, look, you got time to prepare a show, do a show. You got time for more film. You got time to help other young guys who might not be getting it. You got time to get it, so on. So you got that story arc, right? And like I said, that's where everybody is right now. The other though, and this is some Jerry Jedi mind trick stuff, right? Because it's just kind of strange that it looks a lot like the Herschel Walker deal when the way he's thinking anyway. And when you think about this, right? If Jerry also didn't want to trade him, he didn't have to, right? Even though Micah asked for one. But when you look at it from this perspective, when you're watching Micah Parsons and you compare what Jerry did with the fact that he came out and said, "Hey, we weren't able to stop the run. But this was about the run." A lot of film that has been done out here has shown, and you gotta apologize to certain guys like Dontari Poe, um, Jonathan Hankins. These guys in the middle of the field get a lot of the credit for not being able to effectively. Malik Collins, these guys get a lot of flack for not being able to effectively stop the run, right? But when we watch the film, we see consistently. This is long before Mozzie. This is long before Micah, even right. We since the Rams game in 2019, we've seen consistently that you can run the edges on the Cowboys whenever you want because they're trying to get upfield. So there's always a jet stream right behind the defensive ends, right? Says Rob Marinelli, right? So this is not a new problem, right? But when you see that that's what's happening, you see that the edges have been the issue, right? Now, if that's the case, you also have time if you're Micah Parsons to shore that up. And you shouldn't be on the show in other people's opinion talking about, whatever during the season when that's what your overall issue is, right? Now, Jerry Jones mentioning that lets you know he knows what the real issue is with Micah Parsons. See, now you can read between the lines, but think about what he's saying. Okay, he doesn't dislike Mike. I still don't think he dislikes him. It's just business. But Jerry's very smart. Remember, I think he said something when they said something about the trade. He said you didn't want to trade him. He said, no, I would say the opposite. He said if I didn't want it, if I wanted to trade him, I definitely wouldn't tell people I want to trade him. I would say I don't want to trade him because now it seems like it's value to me. That ups the value. That's what he said out his own mouth, right? And that made me think. I said, damn, Jerry crazy. Because walk with me. You have a guy who I don't think Jerry expected to have to pay this much because he drafted him to be a linebacker, right? So when he drafted him and they happened to put him in at defensive end, he's thinking, hey, he's gonna do okay, but he does so good at defensive end his rookie year that you teeter with leaving him there, right? He's an all pro first year. That Jerry, as a businessman, Jerry already know the price is going up on Buddy. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But if Micah Parsons was the goods, why not? He would be getting paid at this point, right? We're going to go through something, too, to show you what I'm talking about. But before stick with me. So if he was the goods and Jerry thought he was the goods, he would probably be here, right? Now, especially as young as he is. But Jerry's watching just like we are, that every playoff game, there's nothing happening. He's not forgetting those things. So, he's watching, hey, the players aren't really rallying around him. He sees those things. He knows. That's why he keeps referencing leadership. Then he watches the things that he's doing on the sidelines when he's not playing. Jerry sees that shit. He that's factoring in. That's not ignored. He's just not going to talk about it because then that devalues the trade that I'm about to try to make. If I start complaining about the things I don't like about the guy, you're not. I'm pissing on the used car I'm trying to give you. You know what I'm saying? But After the fact, he started talking, and when Jerry's interview went off, I said, "Damn, Jerry might have been planning this since not the beginning, but maybe for maybe 2 years now. I don't. It's a sacrificial lamb. You let the value go up to a point where you either get a deal from him that you're comfortable with, if and then it's shit or walk. And that's where Jerry is with the deal. It was shit or walk. And when he said walk, Jerry was okay with him walking. He said to Stephen A. Smith, "I can get 3, 4 Pro Bowlers for that," and he can. And if he does, and you think about it this way, if I pay you to be the highest paid defensive player in the game, and I said he was our best defensive, he is the best defensive player in the game right now. He is, if he's playing his proper position. Jerry knows that too. But he's not at defensive end, because at defensive end, he is a pass rushing specialist. I'm not devaluing him. He's just not a run stopper from the end. He has plays where he does it, where he chases, seals the back end, things like that. He has plays that he makes. He's going to make plays. But from the edge, you already know, with the chips and the size of the tackles that he goes up against, he wears down when you run at him, right? So that doesn't make you the best defensive end in the game. It makes you the best pass rusher in the game, right? So if you look at it from a pass rusher solely perspective, I don't think it's worth the money either. If you look at it from a defensive player perspective, like if he was used as a chess piece as he's supposed to be used, and probably like a 3-4 scheme where you're moving him around, and his play is like Troy Polamalu-esque, where he's one of one, and then there's 10 other guys out there playing zone or doing whatever they got to do to cover up for it, but they're playing defense as if he's not even there, and let him do his thing. If he had that type of effect on the field, Charles Woodson, when he was with Green Bay type effect, where it's like he around the ball. What does he even do? What position is he playing? He's just making plays. You know what I'm saying? Peanut Tillman type of impact. When I say that, he's punching balls out. Yeah, I know Peanut Tillman's a corner, but he's just a weird playmaking type of guy. Micah Parsons in big games doesn't make any, right? So Jerry is not blind to that, but his value is still going up. So he said, "Hey, if I'm not getting over the top with this guy before, when he was younger, before he started getting injured, and when he was like all pro, that didn't translate into Super Bowls for us. It didn't translate into Super Bowls for the Steelers with TJ Watt. It damn sure ain't translate into Super Bowls for Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? The Bosa brothers, you know what I'm saying? One of them, I think, went 2-2, but the other one, none. You know what I'm saying? These are the defensive ends that's the highest paid. Didn't translate for Khalil Mack. You know what I mean? So I think Von Miller, you could say, I think that probably, that was a good deal, but he was older. It wasn't a blockbuster type of payday, right? So when you look at that and say, all right, well, I'm not going to get to a Super Bowl with him. And you see DeMarcus Lawrence left and said just that. He wasn't talking about the organization, because then they gave him an opportunity to talk about the organization. He said, "No, Jerry, cool with me. He paid me. I ain't got nothing to complain about with that." He said he can't win here because it's looking like it's Micah's team and he can't win with Bull. That's what he's trying to say, right? But he don't want to say that either. I'm putting some words in his mouth, but if you guys don't agree with me, it's just my opinion. This is what I think is happening, right? So Jerry understands I need leadership if I'm going to pay you, because for you, I gotta sacrifice 3 guys that I'm not going to get because I'm paying you, and then I might have to let George Pickens leave. I have Smith to pay. They just played Bland, I think. I just saw that go off on my phone. I didn't even get a chance to look at that yet. But you get what I'm saying? I got people to pay. And if I keep you, are you worth all these guys? Obviously not. We're not getting playoff wins because of you. I can't tilt the whole defense through you and funnel it through you, where it's like, okay, if you're being compared to LTs and Reggie Whites and so on, you know what you couldn't do on LT side, on DeMarcus Ware's side, on Reggie White's side, you ain't running outside over there at all. They're like, don't run that over here no more. I've heard him say it like in a clip. Don't run that over here no more, man. Do that. Go that way with that. You know what I'm saying? That's how good they were. It was they could stop the run from the edge, and in 16 games give you 15 plus sacks. You know what I'm saying? So shedding blocks wasn't nothing. They used to eat blocks. So when I'm saying that, I'm not trying to take a crap on them. I'm saying to you though, really, if you can't stop the run from the edge, and we're not funneling the defense through you because you're not in the middle of the field. Um, you're chasing plays just like everybody else is chasing plays. We're not. You're not on a point when it comes to the pass though. Oh yeah, he's beast getting everybody. We were leading the sacks because his get off is crazy and his pass rush ability is crazy. But the problem with that is when we're even in the game, and Jerry even said this, when we're even in the game or when we're behind and teams start running, we break. We're not built. That's not a defense, really. That's like an offensive utility. Meaning, if the offense is playing good and get out on you, that defense can pin his ears back and go. But if the offense is struggling, that defense can't go out and win it. Not in an even game because they weren't able to truly stop the run. People who say they stop in the run, or we had run stoppers in both DeMarcus Ware. He has problems. DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, he has problems, and so does Parsons when it comes to edge setting. I don't know if it was it had to be them because I can't see multiple coaches not telling you how to set an edge. And Lawrence, I've seen set an edge very well on well when he wants to, but he just doesn't do it on a consistent basis, right? But with all that said, Jerry is very aware of the limitations of the guy that he has in front of him, a guy who the locker room does not like. You're not a leader, okay? Um, is really, playing a game with you already when it comes to the money. It's trying to show you up on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you look at it from a standpoint where there's a verbal match between him and his agent anyway already going on. Then Micah actually asking for a trade. All these things are going on. Like none of it is saying, I'm not trying to be a distraction. I want to do this right. Like, Dak was on that type time with it. I'm not trying to be a distraction. I want to do this right. And, we're going to get to it. But, I need you to take me serious, Jerry. On that type time, I think he would have had merit to stand on. The way he went about it when Jerry rejected the agent after their initial meeting that he scheduled, the way he went about it, I think it was over from there. Jerry knew I got a lot of value in this guy, and I'm going to talk as if we holding on to him when we want him. And that upped the price not only with Green Bay, because to get 2 first-round draft picks, Kenny Clark, you get to keep Bland. We already see that. You may get to keep Pickens if you want to. We got enough money to keep him. We can go out and get another veteran if we want to. Calais Campbell, whoever's out there. I don't know who's out on the free agency list, but we can get whatever we want, right? And to be quite honest, the guys that you have left over, all of them, except for maybe Ezeraku, because I don't know about him, even though in college he was a tackling machine from the edge. But I just don't know how you do it in NFL. But all of the rest of them set the edge consistently better than Micah Parsons. So the run game already got better because you're not here. And the reason people who talk about the pass rush fall off are wrong to me is because you have another guy by the name of Sam Williams who really just needs playing time. Sam Williams is not a slouch when it comes to pass rushing. I think people forget because he wasn't getting playing time, and then last year he got hurt. So he's like out of sight, out of mind. But if you give him a full go, is he Micah Parsons? Probably not. But we're not, if you sacrifice 3 sacks, so let's say Micah Parsons ends the season with 13 sacks again, which is his average, right? And Sam Williams has 9. Do you care? Is that worth, all the other things that we get in here? You know what I'm saying? And then you have another guy who's going to rotate with him in either Ezeraku, who's going to have a couple sacks this year, unless something happens that he doesn't play. But if he's playing, he's going to get you, maybe 5 sacks. The way he pass rushes, I don't know. I'm giving him 5 off the rip though, right? Then you got a guy in Fowler who just had 10 last year, who also was a sack machine when he was here. He just wasn't getting the playing time because Micah Parsons was a defensive end. We had a stacked defensive end room, So having a defensive end room that we have right now, Nealon's a young guy. I think he's more of a run stopper, but he obviously going to set the edge as well. So we got a bunch of guys here who definitely could stop the run. And then we added a guy who now makes everybody not so mad at Mozzie. You know why? Because if you got Kenny Clark starting and you have Mozzie spelling Kenny Clark, not only is he learning from Kenny Clark, but Mozzie is good in 20 reps a game. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Clark's good for 60. So if they're rotating in, not only, behind each other, but also together at the same time, that only makes your run defense stronger. Toia now is not going to be asked to be a real rotational guy that's going to always be in there. You're going to see him, but if he's active. But, at the end of the day, you now have depth at that position, and you can mix some things up with Winfrey, who can play he's like a tweener nose and a three. So you can do both, right? Even though he's only 290, but he just has a different type of twitch to him and gear where he's a psychopath. But now that defensive line room looks pretty damn good, man. And even Solomon Thomas could play all up and down the line on any given snap. So hold your horses on the idea that we're not going to generate any pressure now. That's BS. We're not going to be good. We weren't winning. We just was bad last year. He was on the field. In years prior, we would get to the playoffs, but we couldn't go deep because soon as the playoffs start, guess what everybody started doing in the colder months? Running. Guess what we can't stop? The run. Access in the Green Bay game. Matter of fact, we're going to go look at that too. And you guys tell me, right? Don't, and this is what I'm going to do. Don't hate on me. Only people who on here are going to understand what I'm doing when I do these videos. But I'm not crapping on them when I put these out. I'm going to just do some of it here, but I'm going to finish a video talking about or showing all of the playoff losses that we have with Micah Parsons on the field and DeMarcus Lawrence on the field. And you guys are going to see what our problem was in the playoffs. You think Jerry and the rest of the staff who've been watching football their whole life can't see what I'm looking at? They can see it. You think these guys don't go watch film after the game and say, well, whose job is this over here? They know. They all sit in the film room. They all got the coaches have laser pointers. This is 2025. They know exactly who ain't doing what. Now, if you're paying a guy to do it and he's saying, hey, well, coach, I thought I saw it, whatever. But he's been doing it for years. Both DeMarcus Lawrence and now Micah Parsons, they both sucked when it comes to setting an edge and stopping a run on the outside. And because of that, the whole integrity of the defense is broken. So you can't see what your linebackers really can do when the ball ain't being kicked back to them. That's what the edge is for. When you set an edge on both sides, you create a kill zone right in the middle of that, where those middle linebackers and those defensive tackles can now eat because the running back can't cut outside. He has to stay front side or stay true to the play. And then he has to deal with whatever is coming in the middle of that field. When there is no edge, even if there's somebody in the middle in the A gap, I can bounce outside and do what I want because I know this guy's already behind me upfield. I see a crease, or he's got kicked inside, or he jumped the B gap, or he's on the ground because he's too small, or we chipped him out, or our wide receivers blocking him. This is what happens on every play that they run to the outside. One of those things is happening. Sometimes you make a splash play, and then we say, oh, great, he got a tackle for loss. That's great. But how many times did he do it wrong to get that one tackle for loss? But then when you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, I said this before and I say it again. I said it on Twitter, but I say it live. This is not just about DeMarcus Lawrence, but I see games where one game in particular, a fan said, I was at that game because I put the Eberflus game up where I was showing Eberflus versus the Dallas Cowboys, right? But I showed what DeMarcus Lawrence was doing and how many times Fields got off on us. Fields had like 60 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Javonte Williams had like 60-something yards and a touchdown. And then there was another guy, Warren, I think, number 24, had 99 yards and I think a touchdown. We won that game, but they had over 227 yards on the ground on us in that game. And I was showing what DeMarcus Lawrence was doing over and over again. Now, he gave up touchdowns and yards like crazy, but he ended with the stat line because the guy said he had a good game that game on Twitter. I said, see, and this is why I don't like stats. This is why when I watch the film, I watch what you're doing to a game. I watch Kenny Clark. I watch everybody put film out on him. I haven't watched his impact on a game yet, so I have to sit and do Kenny Clark's film that way. And I'll do that with y'all. If y'all want to do that, we could do that here, actually. I mean, I don't mind. If y'all want to do that, you can say it in the chat. But yeah, it's like when you look at the film, you got to look at what the impact of the game is. So hold on, which game was I talking about a second ago? God damn. I was sitting there scrolling down trying to see what y'all was talking about. Which game was I just talking about, y'all? Okay, what's the word? All right, whole city. But anyway, the impact of the game, I'm talking about them getting hit off the edges, but I don't remember which game I was just talking about. I was about to talk to you about a game, and I just lost my train of thought trying to read y'all chat. I screwed that up. But we are going to watch Kenny Clark's film and watch the impact his impact on the game. But when I was talking about that, my whole arc on that idea in the first place is that Jerry Jones understood that Micah Parsons wasn't going to be the answer to uh, winning deep in the playoffs and keeping the guys that he wanted to keep. If he tied up that much money, he has to be getting somebody. Thank you. It was an Eberflus game. If he tied up that much money, he had to be getting somebody that is going to shore up his end and other people's end, and that will and elevate other people's games, and that isn't Micah Parsons. But yeah, back to it. It was the Eberflus game versus the Cowboys. And I watched DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons screw up on the edge for 227 yards, and they was killing us. And the guy saying, "Hey, he had a great game," and I'm like, "Yo, he had 3 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and this looked like a great game, right? 2 tackles for a loss and a sack, but he gave up over 100 yards to his side and some touchdowns. I don't. That's not a fair trade-off to me. Stop the touchdowns. If you gave me no tackles and you set the edge so good, like Pernell McPhee wasn't a stat guy, but he gave you no tackles, or if you ran over there, he's going to tackle you, but he was a force player. McPhee will force you. If you ran a McPhee, him by himself, he taking the pulling guard, he taking out that tackle by himself, and he's anchoring that side where now you can shift away from him. That makes everybody else in the run fits even stronger because they know if they run to the right, I'm not even on play actions. If they do any type of run action to the right, we know McPhee over there. We trust him. We ain't worried about that. We not biting on those things. It makes us better because he's over there doing that, right? That's not what you're getting out of Micah Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence. That's not what you're getting. Now in the pass game, you're getting that out of Micah, right? Because in the pass game, it's like, okay, he is going to get you're going to get some sacks. But the only teams that you're going to be able to pin your ears back and beat are the teams that are not better than you. The teams that know how to win in different ways, like slow the ball game down, run the ball on you, play some hard-nosed Detroit-style football. You saw in the Detroit game what it was. They ran through the team, even though Micah wasn't on the field there, but DeMarcus Lawrence was. They ran through everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm not the type of guy that like looks at it from a, this is what they tell me in the news. This is the way the story went. I think Jerry knew that Micah wasn't going to be the answer, and he had a choice. He said, if I get a deal that it works for the team, I'll do it. If I don't, I know that his value is better gone than here. Because if he thought Micah Parsons was more valuable here, I don't care what Micah did. He wouldn't have traded him. You know what I mean? But trying to one up Jerry in public over and over again, and then laying on the sideline during the game, like, is that leadership in the first place? And we've talked about this. A lot of the things he's doing, like he'll look up at the camera to make sure he look, and it never looks natural. You know what I mean? It never looked natural, and that's not hate. That's just truth. He never looked like a natural leader to anyone else that's on the squad. Him and Trayvon have a good relationship, but leadership is more than just I play well. I play well, and then calling guys out the way he was calling guys out. Hey, a lot of guys out here playing hero ball in a game where you playing hero ball. He was playing hero ball too. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it. Part of this is you. Now, if you holding up your end, I'm saying Pernell McPhee for a reason because he's not a great. I mean, what is he? But if you're Pernell McPhee in the run game and you're turning everything inside and they still ain't stopping guys, then you can say, hey man, listen, I'm doing my job because they can't do that. Or DeMarcus Ware's a better one. You couldn't run the DeMarcus. You try to run those quarterback options like Michael Vick and all them tried to run outside of DeMarcus where he was tearing them up. Couldn't do that over there. And he'll tell you, don't do that, not over here. You know what I mean? Run that to Spencer's side. Don't do that over here. You know what I'm saying? He would do that on a regular basis. So you knew in the beginning of the game, just test it. Let's run an off tackle real quick. All right, he's still there. Let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that, and you don't see that from Micah Parsons. Now, him in the middle of the field, though, everybody think I'm crazy. But remember, we drafted a linebacker. We drafted a linebacker to play linebacker. And he happened to be a pass rushing savant. Micah Parsons is a linebacker who happens to be an elite pass rusher as well. He is not a defensive end. So when you look at the winners and the losers for this deal, Green Bay got a pass rusher who's going to get you sacks and pressures. They did not get a run stuffer unless they use him properly. Maybe they'll use him different. Now, I will say to his credit, he was not used properly. But I also say to his discredit, he was not trying to be used properly either. Because if he wanted to be used properly, he said it last year. He said Zimmer's going to use me like a chess piece, and that's where I should be used in. He pretty much tried to get sacked. He wanted the sacks for the bread. Get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to make him seem shallow, nothing like that. But you get paid more as a defensive end than you do as a linebacker. I understand it. But if winning was what it was about, you knew, I knew. The year that we didn't have any linebackers at all, a leader says, I'm playing linebacker because I know what I'm doing. And we got other defensive ends on this team, but we ain't got no linebackers to the point where we got Bell playing linebacker. A leader goes back and plays linebacker. Yeah, because that's what we needed, a linebacker. He would do it for a game or two, but then I know your stats ain't going up because of that, right? So you got to get back on the edge. But the common misconception is that if he plays linebacker, we now don't have a pass rush. You blitz linebackers sometimes, don't you? Okay, so do that. You also can get to 3rd and long easier if he's at linebacker, because at linebacker, he's giving you not just sacks, but tackles for loss too. Tackles for loss count just as much as a sack, don't they? Because they're tackling the ball on the other side of the field. So if Micah was doing that, and like you said, Deanna Wallace in a 3-4, or he was just doing that anyway, from anywhere, he would be worth the money. If you put him in the A gap, with 7 of his sacks in the previous season, I don't know about last year, but the year before, half of his sacks came from the A gap anyway. Most of them come from the A gap. He either stunting into the A gap or he's standing in the A gap anyway. That's where linebackers stand up anyway. And all you had to do with Micah Parsons is make him a Troy Polamalu type player. And what I mean by that is, it don't matter what your scheme is, 3-4, 4-3. If it's 4-3, you're playing with 3 down linemen. So it's 3-3. It's 3 linebackers in your base and 3 down linemen. Or you're playing 3-2-5. He's 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and a nickel back. And then there's Micah. He's over there, but he's either he's freelancing. He's just doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would do it with Micah Parsons, and let him do what he wants to do. If I'm in my base, it's 3-3, and then Micah. He's an X factor player. He can roll up and do what he wants. He can double somebody. He can blitz. Do what you want to do. Do what you feel. If he was playing like that and you were trying to stop them, someone else's responsibility that was setting the edge and stopping the run was on everyone else, and he's just making plays, being an X factor, he probably would kill it doing that. You know what I'm saying? Then he would be worth that money. But as just a pass rusher who cannot stop the run, he's not worth the money anyway. So when I looked at it that way too, I said, I ain't really that mad at that. Not because it didn't translate into win. If we won a Super Bowl, and then none of the teams who got top defensive end paid have Super Bowl rings. How many sacks did the Eagles get last year on the edge? Who's their sack leader? Sweat? I don't know. I don't really know. I really don't. I'm not trying to be smart. But who was the sack leader? Who was Kansas City's? Who's Kansas City's elite pass rusher? Who? On the edge? Who? I don't even know. I really don't know. I ain't even being smart. But so what the hell? When do you even see that? We see linebackers though. They matter. They get you to Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So when I don't see him jump up to do that, you're not a leader. You're not a leader. I didn't see a lot of players mad about the deal either. And plus, you don't trade a player during a new coach's regime that the coach want. You don't trade a player during a new coach's regime that will put a dampen or dimmer damp in the locker room. I mean, everybody in the locker room mad about this. We can't do that right before the season start too. They mad about. Ain't nobody mad. I think the only one who said something was Trayvon Diggs. I ain't see nobody else. I ain't see a bunch of people. Not saying they didn't, but I ain't see a bunch of people bitching about it from the team, from the organization. Nobody. Everybody like, yeah, let's move on. We gotta do what we gotta do. We ain't want it to happen, but hey, man, what you want to say? Kenny Clark, like, hey, man, I just want to play football. Nobody cares. But now we talk about the win on our side, right? Kenny Clark. So I think Micah Parsons was sacrificed for better players and for a run for Jerry Jones's like last hoorah. I really do. Now, he wasn't going to come out and say that to you. He's not going to tell you that because it don't make sense. He'll tell you that in a documentary if he lives to 100. He ain't going to tell you the day, though. But you got to read between the lines. He ain't mad about it. He just know y'all gonna be mad about it, so he said what he had to say. But he went and got Kenny Clark. He just signed Bland, and he has 2 first-round draft picks that he can trade for. Like he said, if he said I can get 3 Pro Bowlers for that. You think he's telling you now? You talking to a guy who's been in sales. I done sold legal stuff. I done sold illegal stuff. It's about buying low, selling high. Now you tell somebody you can get 3 Pro Bowlers for the price of 1 All Pro, he gonna take it all day. But he not lying. He just got one guy that went in 3 Pro Bowls, and he gonna get you somebody else if you need him. But I can't see where there's another hole on his defense now. It's funny that addition by subtraction is a real thing. You lose Micah Parsons, but you get a guy who solidifies the middle of the field and makes it so that you have now guys, because Micah's not taking the brunt of that playing time, who all can set the edge and don't mind, because none of them are expected to be this all-star sack guy. They're just guys that, hey, when I get my opportunity, I get it. But my first job is to stop the run so I can get my opportunity. Right? Right. So that's what you got on the team now. And we now have more cohesion as well, because you brought in a guy who is a leader, Kenny Clark. You have a guy on the next level, in the next room, in the defensive end room, 2 of them. Well, 3 of them. You got Solomon Thomas, another leader. Get what I'm saying? You got Fowler. I want to say Fowler's a leader in vocal leader, but he's a tone setter. That's for damn sure. His attitude and the way he play, cool. You got that. You got Slam Williams, who's just edgy guy, not a leader, but edgy guy. You know what I mean? But at every level, you got somebody. Sanborn, leader. You know what I mean? Demo, leader when he come back. You know what I'm saying? So you got leaders everywhere. They say Donald Wilson is the captain. I guess he's a leader, but I don't like Donald Wilson still starting. But we ain't talking about Donald right now. I'm feeling like they can find something to do with him that masks his ineffectiveness in coverage. My dog is just going crazy back there, man, getting on my nerves. If he don't stop, I'm going to get up for a second and pause the show and go tell him shut the hell up. But so he's going off. When he start, I don't understand him, man. He be barking at nothing too. It'd be crazy. Do y'all mind if I take a second to go tell my dog? Matter of fact, I ain't gonna tell him shut up. He ain't gonna stop, because then I'm gonna have to get up like 5 times. I don't feel like doing all that. He's just gonna get away with it. Anyway, so when you look at that, we got leadership now. You know what I mean? And we have players who don't really. They all paid. The corners are paid. You know what I'm saying? The rest of them are young, and then they are paid. So you got nobody's trying to play hero ball for a contract. Everybody just here like we just need to win. And now you have the cohesion. In the secondary, you got Hooker, who's a leader. You know what I'm saying? I like what he said to Micah Parsons during the season when he was talking about the run, because I agree with it. If we're not doing well, why you? I mean, I don't care about the show if we ain't doing well. You know what I'm saying? So I don't got a problem with it, man. May Micah do well in Green Bay. If they come out and they use him properly, Micah Parsons will be the best player in the game. When I say that, I mean it. If you use him right, he's the best player that any of us might have seen in a long time, because he can play middle linebacker with the best of them, right? He can play middle linebacker with the best of them. Ray Lewis might have been better at linebacker, but Ray Lewis couldn't get you 10 sacks, 15 sacks. You know what I'm saying? You got guys like Garrett, who might be a better defensive end. He can stop the run and he's gonna get you sacks too, right? Garrett might be a better defensive end. Reggie White is a better defensive end. You know what I'm saying? DeMarcus Ware was a better defensive end or outside linebacker, either or. But DeMarcus Ware couldn't play middle linebacker like Fred Warner. You know what I'm saying? Fred Warner is a better middle linebacker, but Fred Warner can't get you sacks. You know what I'm saying? That is what made Micah Parsons special, not his sack ability only. That you're cutting him in half by doing that. So if they go over there, if he goes and does that over there, good riddance. Robert Quinn had 20 sacks before and couldn't stop the run. We've seen this movie. Robert Quinn had 20 sacks and couldn't stop the run. Isn't that true? Does that make him better? He ain't better than Micah Parsons. He ain't a good defensive end because he get 20 sacks. He's good at pass rushing, but he can't stop the run. He's not complete. That's why he still has bounced around from team to team, because he ain't stopping shit. He will get you sacks, and the sacks will get you paid. But that's what you're going to get if you get sacks. You're going to get paid. But remember, y'all got to start remembering, I said it, tackles for loss count. They count. Tackles for loss count. And we need to start taking them more serious, because if you're a linebacker or a defensive end and you get me 10 tackles for loss a season or more, and you give me 3 sacks, that's 13 balls stopped behind the line of scrimmage. If you're a defensive end and you get me 2 tackles for loss in the run game and 15 sacks, that's not much different to me at all. So I don't know why it's looked at that way. One will get paid, the other one will get paid a workman's salary, like a blue collar salary type of defensive end pay. It's real weird to me, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, let's look at some Kenny Clark. I'm gonna go tell my dog to shut up for a second, and then we're gonna get Kenny Clark out of here. Just give me a moment. Oh man, that's how I know y'all banged with me, man. It was like 285 on here when I left, and it's still 265 on here. Huh. All right. I had to go rumble my dog real quick, man. He was out there tripping. I'm like, I don't know what's up with him. Oh, I'm out of breath though. Hold on. I hope like hell Perion Winfrey is okay, man. What you mean? What happened to him? Damn. He got hurt. Great Akoye, you or the one you the one I've been waiting on. Waiting on. After seeing how Overshawn dominated, why wouldn't Micah want to play linebacker? Do you think it's salary related? He knew that position paid more. Check this out, man. If he played, do it matter if he's listed as a defensive end? He could be listed at defensive end. It don't matter. You can still be a defensive end. You're going to still be rated. As a matter of fact, playing linebacker help you even more because you're going to get more tackles. But you're still going to get you 10 sacks and some change, right? But you're going to get more tackles. You're still going to be all pro. And all of his stats from middle linebacker are 6 stats too. Not his best stats, actually, against the run are all from the middle of the field. Taking on double teams, nobody can block him in space. He's like the AN1 mixtape of middle linebackers. I ain't gassing. I just told you the truth about him. So I'm gonna tell you what I love about him. Like, you cannot block him in space because he could deal with you with no space when you know you have to block him at defensive end. You know that's your assignment. You can't touch him then. But you damn sure can't touch him when you're trying to scrape off and reach to the second level and combo block him or reach block him. You can't do that. Not in space. We've seen that. And then his pursuit, you can't run away from him. So those edge rushes, even if you are not, if you're not sound or disciplined at setting the edge, it wouldn't even matter if Micah Parsons is out there because he's going to erase that. He would erase that. I got the film of that. Like, he will erase that. So at the end of the day, like, I don't even understand it anyway. But You got a point. I don't know why he wouldn't want to play it, but the fact that he's not playing it devalued him to me anyway. I think Demo came out and Demo was looking crazy good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if you had him and Demo next to each other, do you know how unbeatable the Cowboys would be? Because you can't do shit in the middle of the field, nor do you got to come out your base package. You can play nickel all day if you want. You know what I mean? Just play nickel or big nickel, bring another safety on the field sometimes, or a nickel back on the field, whatever. Don't matter. Those two run the 4-4s, sideline to sideline in both directions and backwards, and both can, take up space. So you ain't throwing it across the middle of the field. You can't run up the middle of the field because they both on your ass. You can't run on the outside because they both can flow sideline. They'd be racing to the ball on almost every play. Anything 15 yards and to the tackle. So tackle to tackle and 15 yards deep, the middle of the field would be theirs. Both of them. And then they getting sacks too. Both of them will be double-digit guys. Or I know Demo in a full season give you 8 easy. He gave you 5, I think, last year. He give you 8. He can give you 8. Demo's a beast. So I don't get it either, man. Quarterbacks, we wouldn't have problems with running quarterbacks anymore. You wouldn't have problems versus the run. It don't matter who playing defensive end then. And then you only get better at defensive end because now you got still one of the best pass rushers in the game standing in the A-gap who you still have to respect if he's just mugging the line of scrimmage, just stand there pre-snap. You still got to respect it. You got to slide protection there. And now those guys on the outside could be lesser than and still be good. They going to get paid and they going to get sacks. All of them. Everybody happy. Micah getting paid like a Weapon X player that he wants to get. He wants to get paid like a non-defensive end. He wants to get paid as a football player. And that's what he got paid as, right? But he ain't that unless he's playing the way I'm describing. If he's just on the edge and you know where he's going to be. We've seen this movie. And now let's watch it. Let's watch it. All right. We're going to get into some Kenny Clark later. But first, I'm gonna watch some playoffs of what I'm talking about. Let's just watch some examples. I don't have nothing cut up, so I'm gonna just go straight up to the NFL site. I don't like sitting on this site though because they be blocking me, man. Let me see what I can do. All right, hold on. Let's watch the playoffs from 2023 playoffs. Wild card round. All right, there go Green Bay game. Here we go. All right, let's watch that one. Hold on a second. All right, let me show it. Present. Share screen. All right, let me see. Can I change these? Nope. Hopefully. Let me see. Is it NFL? Does it say NFL anywhere? Try to blow it up. All right. Let's see what you guys can see. Boom. All right, cool. This is defense. My bad. We're looking at the wrong side of the ball, too. Let me go back. Escape. Defense versus the run. Defense rushing. Oh, Kenny Clark not on the field, brother. That's what it was. Hold on. Let me go back to that game. Boom. Dallas. Dallas Cowboys. I should look at Micah Parsons only, right? So I'm going to just put Micah Parsons. Yeah, Micah Parsons on the field. So he's on the field for 50 plays. That means we're gonna get some DeMarcus Lawrence too when he out there. But all right, now we got it. What are we looking for? Now let me put this up. Let me make sure y'all can see what y'all can. All right, cool. Nobody never bigger than the team. I agree with you. But let's play this. I haven't seen this. I haven't watched this film in years, so we both learning together. Boom. All right, so let's see. So you're gonna get trap block here, right? The tight end gonna come in motion. Who is he aiming at? They ain't even bother blocking him over here. You see that? Now, him being there, him not being able to crack this tight end and close this gap, and I don't know what's about to happen on this play either, right? But I can already see what they're saying. Look, we're going to take our 5 guys and we're going to block everybody else. And we're going to let this tight end just give us some space, because hopefully he's either upfield thinking this is a pass play, or he's, where he's too excited, or we're able to get some space by just being able to successfully block him, like you see there. Tight end cracked him there. Boom. So he can't pursue off the back end. D-Law, let's see what he's doing. All right. He's crashing the B gap most likely. Boom. Yes, he is. So him and Hankins are in the same gap right now, leaving Aaron Jones and Wilson in that gap up front if he tried to stay front side. You see Osa got Osa actually saved the day on this play. And then D-Law makes the play because he dives there in the B gap. So he shot the B gap. Excuse me, I had to get something to drink. He shot the B gap, which was good. But for that one, now he's thinking, hey man, this worked, right? So you're gonna do it the rest of the game. So you got your tackle for loss, right? That's one. All right, and Micah's to the left now. D-Law's to the right. Let's see what they're doing here. Boom. Micah's upfield. This is a pass play. Looks like, yes. All right. Boom. He has time. Not too much. All right. See, boom. Micah being under. Let's see what his effect was. See, they slid protection to Micah's side. These 3 are staying stationary. Their job is just to block, basically Osa, and that's D-Law over there. And then there's like a little game that's being played. I think Wilson's blitzing. Yep. Wilson trips on this blitz. So he's supposed to be cutting inside the A gap, while Micah and Chauncey spread out, right? Here's Wilson. I think he's spying, or he might be covering the running back on his way to the quarterback. Boom. He chops the running back down and then hits Love. Boom. Cool. Nice shit. All right. Let's see what's going on. And we're going to watch 50 snaps. I'm going to keep checking and seeing if you guys are able to still see it, or if the NFL struck me. But here's D-Law on the front side again, jumping the B gap. Boom. And he's going to do this well again. Let's see this one. D-Law came ready this game. Boom. He threw his guy right into the ball carrier. Let's see. Threw his guy into the ball carrier. Good play. Even though he doesn't get the tackle. That's 2 plays by D-Law in the B gap. He getting hyped. He looked like he ready. I could see how he could be a little pissed off if things don't go well after this. Mind you, I haven't watched this game in a long time. I don't know what's happening. Boom. I don't want any pass plays. Hold on a second. I just want run plays. Play situations. All right, hold on a second, y'all. Ignore. Play type. Rush. There we go. All right, so it's 26 runs. Now we talking. All right, now we cooking with high grease. Let's go. I think I've seen this one. We saw this one already. All right, here we go. Micah's to your right. That looks like Dorrance to your left. Boom. Let's see what happened here. This one is Hankins. Get moved. Hankins got moved. Who's that spilling in there? See who's spilling in the middle of the field? That might be Bell. Yeah, that's Bell. Bell gets in there, makes a tackle. Not bad. 3-yard gain. Looked a little scary because Hankins got moved though. Let's see what we got. Micah to your left. DeMarcus Ware to your right. Where they running, y'all? Boom. Micah got held, I think. But there's a lot of space here. Watch this. Let's see him and Osa. So Osa is moving. I don't see. This is what I don't understand. I don't know if they calling this or not, but I don't see why the coach would call a stunt like that. Like Micah's first step is outside, and Osa's first step is inside. Why are we giving this? Why look right there, before they even block you? This is what they've done. You know what I'm saying? Now Micah's trying to set the edge, so I'm thinking that it's probably Osa that's wrong here. That's not reading. He's just getting upfield, but he's blind on this play. I don't get why by the time the ball is handed off, those two guys are in the positions they're in. DeMarcus Lawrence is coming from the backside right here, and who's that? Neville makes the tackle with Bell, but it's just crazy shit. But I still haven't seen the $47 million play in the playoffs or play in big games that we're talking about here. And I haven't seen, to be quite honest, I haven't seen it from DeMarcus Lawrence much either. This game, he looked okay so far. I'm not gonna lie. Let me see what happens. They're running his side. The middle is getting destroyed. Let's see who's that is. That's Neville and Osa. That's Osa again, actually. Osa right there is done, cooked. All right. That's our $80 million man. Boom. Cooked. This happens to him a lot too. But people they don't talk about that. They just say, they act like it's not happening. When that happens, they're like, Osa is great versus the run. In plays, but then he does things like that too. So you have to, give both. Anyway, Micah to your left, DeMarcus Lawrence to your right. Micah's pursuing on the backside, got his legs cut out. Now so far, he's not a factor in the game. You know what? You know who has been a factor though? Bell. You know why? Because everything is going at either the middle of the field or the edges, right? Now they keep playing this game with him where they're gonna make him sit and think. So that's how you slow a guy down. Keep shooting at his legs the way they're shooting at his legs. He ain't gonna run up the field all crazy playing his feet because he know he gotta be ready for that cut. He getting cut block left and right. So that's what's happening to him. But let's see what's happening on the front side. Osa, they're running towards Osa and DeMarcus Lawrence. Boom. Hankins gets knocked out of there. Boom. Osa's pushed out of there too, actually. So Hankins and Osa. So Hankins he pulled Hankins' head down. He's cheating. That was a little cheat, John. Like a nice little move. Number 74. Watch 74. 74 and Hankins. Watch this. Boop, boop. Come here, young boy. And then Osa's getting pushed out of there. Boom. Good blocking scheme. Now Curse is the only one who does his job. Look at Curse. Curse gonna undercut the block. He the littlest guy there. Everybody else got their ass blocked out. Curse cuts under the block. Boom. He stands his ground, cuts under the block, makes the tackle. But look at how many people are not doing their jobs here. Parsons is chopped on the backside. That could happen, but the guy really threw his legs and threw himself at his legs. Osa ain't in the right spot because he's standing literally in DeMarcus Lawrence's lap. So Osa in the wrong spot. Hank is on the ground. And then Bell, I give him his credit for trying, but he's Bell. He's little. He got pancake like nothing. Look at Bell. Watch poor Bell. This is Dan Quinn's fault, not Bell's fault. I ain't coming at the ball, but god damn. I still ain't seen it. I ain't seen it yet. I want to see you. I want to see what we getting. You know what I'm saying? Like if we were Green Bay, this is actually for Green Bay fans. If I was a Green Bay fan, I would break this film down the same way. And I'd be like, well, let's watch the film and see what we're getting. Let's see what we're getting. Oh, there you go. Oh shit. He must have heard me. Look at that. Look at Micah Parsons on this one. That's what you're supposed to do when a tight end, as a defensive end, when a tight end or a wide receiver tries to block you, it should look like that. They should not be able to block you with no tight end and a wide receiver. The fact that they tried that is disrespectful, right? Boom, get rid of them. It should be nothing. And that's what it was that time. Good job, Micah Parsons. There you go. So I'll give him one, and then the rest of them, it wasn't nothing happening. Nobody did anything. He didn't do anything. So he got one positive play. DeMarcus Lawrence got about two. That was easy. So that non-factor. Why? Because he's on the edge. You just either run at him or run away from him. There you go. Now you see he sees that tight end that's trapping. Micah Parsons ain't trying to deal with that. Watch it. He gonna slow right up. Because he know what's happening. They shooting at his legs. He know 85 is his job. Watch it. Did he see him? He's like, He ain't want none of that smoke. Then look at DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's see what's happening on the other side. You got Clark trying to set the edge. Clark is easy to block. DeMarcus Lawrence, because he loves the B gap. See, he crashes the B gap again, But somebody's supposed to fill here. Maybe it's Curse. Maybe it's Donald. Maybe it's Bell. Who's supposed to fill? Nobody's filling. Nobody's filling. Nobody's filling. Nobody filled. Boom. I know that wasn't what he was asked to do. There's no way D-Law is supposed to be in there because he is ISO'd right here, meaning you are the anchor point on this side. If they run a counter towards Micah Parsons and Hankins and Neville, the heavy bodies are over here. So that they show a force to your left. They try to do a Pernell McPhee with DeMarcus Lawrence right here. They put DeMarcus Lawrence over here by itself and say, look, man, they gonna have to deal with you, right? Him and Clark. Now, there's no way you're supposed to get over here with the numbers. They ISO'd you so that if the ball comes your side, you're basically the force point or the anchor point on this play. You ain't supposed to be over there with the rest of them. I'm pretty sure that gap ain't supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure this gap that you're looking at between 50 and 76 is supposed to be a man by the name of Marcus Lawrence there. Even if it's a mess, he's supposed to be right there. Boom. But he's over here by his own choice and gets pancaked and boom. But guess who they're going to blame for that? Watch this. Now, we keep saying we need tackles. Hankins is there. I've seen Hankins lose on a couple reps, but Hankins is there, Nev is there. Watch Hankins and Nev. Do they get an opportunity? Let's see. Hankins is taking on a double team. Nev is carrying his guy into his gap. There's nowhere for their job is pretty much done. They haven't blown the play up, but their guys have not gotten to the second level, and Nev has gotten into his gap and is flowing to the ball. Parsons does not much, and Lawrence, I think, is the culprit on this play. Boom. Either way, touchdown. But we blame the tackles for that. We need interior help. That had nothing to do with interior help. I'm gonna check on y'all. I'm about to pause it real quick. Let me just check, make sure my stream's still up. Is my stream still up? Yes, it is. That's good. Olsen never had any help. Lies. Hankins played damn good. Oh, excuse my friends. I'm burping in y'all ear and all that. My bad. I ain't that rude. All right, back at it. Hankins played pretty damn good. All right, let's go. Let's see what's happening. All right, you got Chauncey in there. This is a 1 yard gain. This is Parsons. Let's see. Let's see. Parsons. Boom. Oh, that's only because Bull whiffed on his block. Let's see what he did. All right. DeMarcus Lawrence. He actually set an edge. Look at that. And what happens when you set the edge? You got bodies inside that can now eat. They can make the play now. Now they don't look so bad. Hankins moved down the line of scrimmage. Hold on 1 second. All right, cool. Somebody about to add me to a group chat. My bad. All right, let's see what happens. Hankins moving down the line of scrimmage. Chauncey holds up pretty good. Lawrence slips at the end, but he held up good enough to turn his back inside. Lawrence doesn't set this edge. Micah Parsons doesn't make this tackle. Parsons just doesn't get blocked on this play because 85 just took a poor angle to him. Yeah, he went upfield. So Parsons going around him. He said, I ain't going through this guy. I'm going around. He's like, damn that. And he tiptoed around the guy, made the play. Good job, Parsons. But, it wasn't like, it was just him cleaning up. It wasn't like a forced play, but it was good. Good job, Parsons. Good job, DeMarcus Lawrence on that play. All right, we're in the goal line. This is a touchdown here. Let's see what happens. Is interior. Boom. Everybody kind of did their job on this one, actually. Look at this. See, Parsons. Oh, good push by Parsons. Got upfield. Hankins stood his guy up. Osa's at like a stalemate. DeMarcus Lawrence is doing a good job of stacking, and he's like, all right, I'm about to get rid of this guy. He meets him in the gap, or he's thinking, and whose job was to seal that behind him? Let me see. It got to be Clark or Bell. Bell is in the middle of the field. You're already too committed to the middle of the field, and Clark is just out there taking up space. Clark doesn't even try to get away from his guy because I think he thinks he's setting the edge. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think he thought he was. And that was a lot of space and opportunity. But again, Did y'all see a problem with Hankins? Did you see a problem with? I don't see too much of a problem with Hankins. You could say Osa lost some ground, but Hankins did his job. I said Osa ain't had no help. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the middle of the field anyway. Neither one of those guys did a bad job. Would have been a mess if he ran in the middle of the field. So again, that was on the edge. It wasn't necessarily DeMarcus Lawrence's fault, but it was still a run that ended up outside, not inside. All right, 7 yards. Let's see where they going here. Oh, who they run at? Let's see. All right, so they ISO'd Micah on this one. Meaning, when I say ISO'd, I say he has a lot of space in between both he and Hankins, right? He's all the way out here, sort of like wide nine almost. Your run stoppers, Hankins, Nev, and DeMarcus Lawrence are all spread to the right, right? The only thing over here is Wilson and Micah Parsons and Bell behind that. If you can successfully block Hankins or run away from him, you're only dealing with Micah. And if you're pulling guys off the backside, you don't even need to on this one because Micah is going to get dealt with by this tackle. Boom. Because he set the edge here. Hankins is flowing, supposed to be flowing to that gap. And then we got our linebackers who haven't taken a step forward at all. So they got reached because they didn't gain any ground. They're not attacking anything. They're waiting. Boom. You got Clark jumps in the gap. Boom. Makes the tackle. Him and Hankins. Let's see what Hankins does. Boom. They try to run away from him. Boom. He presses, dives into the guy right there. Boom. That was good. Good play. I don't know how. Oh, that was no gain. Good tackle. I thought it was 7 yards. I don't know how they got yards on that. Micah Parsons set the edge. Hankins, did his thing. Let's see. 3 yards. Golston and Clark on display. Boom. Let's see what's happening. Lawrence looks like he's setting the edge properly right now. Hankins is taking on a double team. Chauncey is being violent. Nev is upfield. Parsons is sealing the backside. Boom. Chauncey gets rid of his guy very well. Let's watch what Chauncey does on this play. All right, so they're like this is 3-4. So this was like a 3-4 look. I like these looks. They always did stop the run this year, that season when they did this, but they just didn't do it enough. I think this would have been Micah Parsons' best look. It's just Dan Quinn didn't stay here long enough for them to continue doing it. But I think that would have been his best look because that would have given you an option to keep three. Let's go back to the base real quick. You got 3 large guys on the field, and you can't even count DeMarcus Lawrence as a large guy because he plays bigger than he is, right? But you have 3 guys above 270 on the field, 280 on the field. You know what I mean? And those 3 guys in the middle, you got your nose tackle, and you got your 2, 3, 4 defensive ends, and Neville and Chauncey. That makes it so that run-wise, you can stop the run with those 3 in the middle because those 3 are all capable of taking double teams on. Now, that doesn't mean consistently Nev is going to take on a double team, nor is Chauncey. But Hankins is a consistent double team anchor, right? Which means you can occupy 4 to 5 offensive linemen with the 3-4 with just 3 guys. And that leaves Lawrence and Micah Parsons to deal with. This is why guys like TJ Watt, Greg Lloyd, back in the day, James Harrison, and those 3-4 schemes get a lot of sacks because not only are they good athletes and they're fast, and they're good pass rushers, but they also have this to deal with because they know you have guys that are just 2 gapping and taking up blocks in between the tackles, right? So let's watch this. Boom. So Parsons is free. So that tight end is looking for him, and he knows it. So Parsons tries to get skinny on this play. Golson is getting rid of his guy. Like he's forklifting his man. He forklifts him, gets rid of him, and then falls into the ball. Good job, Golson. Pretty much. He was violent on that play. I like how he played. I haven't seen a lot from Parsons and Lawrence. I do give Lawrence his credit for one. I give Parsons his credit for that 1 yard gain play. Lawrence has caused 2 tackles for loss so far. Parsons setting the edge. This ball should be funneled to Parsons, not him setting the edge, but he sets the edge properly. And this is Nev and those guys in the middle for no gain. Nev just gets upfield the way you want him to. Chauncey is the anchor. Boom. He gets rid of his guy too. Chauncey was always violent, man. I like Chauncey. I miss that guy, man. But I think Pernell Winfrey might make up for it because they're similar players. They play the same. Violent, tweeners. No offense. Let's watch what's happening. A counter. Oh, see this here. Now watch this. Let's watch it. DeMarcus Ware. So where's this run going? This is an 8-yard game? Does it go between the tackles? Let's see. Let's see where they at. All right, so Osa kind of pushed out of there. If it was between the tackles, DeMarcus Lawrence would have destroyed that. I think he was thinking it was going between the tackles and that tight end was coming to blow him up, so he's trying to meet that tight end. No, he wasn't. He tried to go around the tight. Why did he do that? I thought he was trying to meet him because I'm thinking I'm thinking that he's reading this like, all right, this ball is going up the gut, right? And this tight end's job is to seal me so that there's enough room for him to get up there. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is thinking that. If he's thinking that, he has to meet the tight end. He runs right by him, and leaves him now as a pulling tight end free because he ain't had to block nobody. He wasn't even supposed to have him as a block. This ball's supposed to be tackled right here because if DeMarcus Lawrence hits that tight end there or gets hit by the tight end, even if the tight end flips him and blows him up, right? This is supposed to be Caleb Carson and Jones out in space. It's not supposed to be Caleb Carson, Jones, and the tight end pulling out of space. But you get that, boom. So now you get a couple more yards out of it. DeMarcus Lawrence comes and gets the tackle, and they're like, oh, look, he's hustling. But he caused it. He caused that. All right, so he got 2 positive plays, one negative for Parsons so far. I mean, not Parsons, Lawrence. Boom. All right, this time he cuts inside instead of sealing. He's supposed to have his head outside. He comes in. He not coming. Pause. He's supposed to be inside, not outside on this play. But he tries to undercut it, which sometimes works. But you see your help is on the backside flowing to the ball. You need to kick this ball back to them somehow. If you try to undercut this and play hero ball and you miss, it messes up the integrity of the defense. And then we get called bad, right? Well, all he had to do, think about this. Boom. See where he is? All right. He misses. But all he had to do is just literally just step outside. He didn't have to do shit. He just take a step to the left instead of the right. Boom. If he did that and he was falling to the left instead of the right, guess what? Osa can probably eat. Hankins can eat. Those guys are flowing to the ball. Yeah, Hankins and Osa would have got there. Boom. But because he takes that move, makes that move and misses, first down. Running right at you. All right, so that's 2 bad plays. You gave up a first down and 8 yards on the other play. So you're at now even Steven for DeMarcus Lawrence. 2 good plays, 2 bad. But we're looking at the impact of the game. Y'all watching the game. Let's pay attention to the impact that they're having here. They're ISOing Parsons out there wide 9. So Osa gets upfield immediately. He's chasing this play. If Osa doesn't make this play, when you're looking at front side, Micah was watching for the bootleg. I understand what he was doing right there, but now he has to get into pursuit fast. Osa is missing this play, which he does, and they cut back because he has space. Because let's see, who's that? Nev gonna get moved, and so is Armstrong. Let's see, boom. Armstrong and Nev, they're thinking this is a stretch play, and Clark is thinking he's still in the edge, but this is a counter. Boom. They ran that counter. Boom. And get upfield quickly. Non-factors because no linebackers are really on the field either, which is crazy work, but non-factor. All right, so they're running the ball right up the Gizzy, not right up the gut, but right at them. They're manipulating the edges mostly. Let's see where they're running right here. Right guard. Yep, countering off the edge. So now they said when you actually block it, do it correctly, we're going to counter. When you do it incorrectly, we're going to keep it front side. So DeMarcus Lawrence sets the edge pretty well. All right, that was pretty good. Boom. They cutting off that. Micah Parsons on the backside. All right, you got backside pursuit. You got to run to that ball like your hair on fire. Let's see. He protects his legs, which he's supposed to. But he slows up, and there's a gap because there's no linebackers either. The linebackers are going left and right. I don't know where Clark. What the fuck is that? Do you guys see that? Watch Bell. Now, I understand kind of what Bell doing. Bell watching the ball. So Bell is flowing front side because he thinks the ball right there is going to the left. Where the hell is Clark going? Where Clark at? Where is Clark going? What the fuck is that? I don't even know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. That is crazy work with that. That's Clark don't know. He don't belong on a football field. What the hell? What is he doing? What is he spying? He ain't watching the ball. I know that. What is he doing? I don't know what he keying him, but that's crazy. And Parsons gonna get chopped, and Clark. So two guys are really. Well, Parsons getting chopped. He's not really not on the field. He chopped, but Clark didn't even need to be out there, and Clark ain't need to be out there. I don't know what the hell he was doing. They ran right into the void. Like, yo, this is crazy work. That's crazy work. Now watch Nev. Let's see. Nev got pushed off. Yeah, got knocked out of there, and Parsons got sealed. Hankins, let's see what happened to Hankins. What'd you do, Hankins? Hankins thought I was going that way. Hankins really not wrong right here. Nev is supposed to be here, and so is Bell. Somebody's supposed to be filling that gap so that he doesn't even have room for that. And then Parsons, is supposed to be there. Boom. Crazy work. Let's see. To the left, this is Slam Williams over there. Parsons. So they ISO and Slam. They got Mozzie on the field. They got Hankins on the field. I like that combination maybe in the middle. You got Parsons all far out to the right. Let's see what happens here. Boom. Mozzie moved. Hankins is anchored. Sam Williams looked like he's in good position so far. Parsons is even in good position right now. Parsons does a crossover. They counter it right back at Parsons. They said he don't want to seal because he don't want to get hit in his legs. Look, it ain't like anybody does want to get hit in their legs, but that's what they doing to him. They threatening his legs. Look, he picking sides. I'm gonna get out of the way. This is what you gonna pay in the playoffs, right? Like, no, dog. If this all you got to do to beat a team, like, what the hell would you be paying a guy? This is all you got to do to beat him. Now, y'all blame, but I guarantee you, y'all blame Hankins and Mozzie, right? What are they doing? Now, could they have done better here? Yeah, but this ain't an interior problem. This is what I keep trying to tell people. It's never been our interior that's been the problem. You saying that Osa don't have help. Osa, the only one I've seen give up one in the middle of the field so far, and I don't got a problem with Osa either. I'm not saying that we have the greatest interior defensive line room in the world, but you don't know what your linebackers or your interior line is until they've successfully played well on the outside. Because then they can say, hey, we're turning everything into you guys, and you guys ain't there. And we getting all these big runs up the middle of the field. If you see teams just running dive plays and power, then you know your defensive tackles ain't shit. You see a lot of counters, off tackles, and sweeps and stretches, then they playing with your defensive ends. A lot of pin and pulls. They playing against your defensive ends. Boom. They don't. The rest of the line does not have to block Micah Parsons. No offensive lineman is bothering with him. Look, they're all just gonna block everybody else. Look, that's how he creates an advantage in the run game. He said we're just gonna leave him free and let a tight end run at him. Look, boom. He cuts right around him. Boom. This the playoffs, and you getting the opportunity because the ball coming to you. It's coming to you. And then you complaining, but you running around blocks. But hold on. Let's see. Now he in the middle of the field. This one go for 27 yards. God damn. Let's see what happens here. Right tackle. Boom. Boom. Right at Mozzie. Let's see. Hankins and Mozzie. Mozzie playing like a 3-tech. You got Clark outside of him. Got Parsons. What is Parsons doing? Off ball. Parsons run right. He blitzing the line of scrimmage. You got Bell who kind of waiting. Mozzie is in the B gap. He shouldn't have chose a side. Should have stayed square on that one and just caused a mess. But he chose a side which he shouldn't have done. But Bell should have been there for that. Where is Bell going? That's the second time I've seen that. I don't know what Dan Quinn was teaching when it came to their keys on these jet sweeps, but they didn't know what they were reading. Watch this. He gonna read the tight end. He's watching the tight end, so he's thinking that this is a counter, and he cuts right out of the gap. I can't even really blame Mozzie much for this because the ball's supposed to be. 14's supposed to be right here. He's supposed to be right there, so that at least Mozzie don't have a shot at making this play now because he chose a side. and nobody on the outside. Clark or Sam Williams, they both. Sam Williams actually met that trap block. Okay, he got down, got low, but they're in position if the ball bounces outside. This is being funneled to Bell, and they're saying, "Hey, we dare you to try to play us with a linebacker that ain't a linebacker." And Mozzie, like I said, this is his 290-pound rookie year, and they said we're gonna run right at the rookie, and that's what they did. Boom, 27 yards. Gilmore makes the tackle. I said Caleb Carson because he got 21. That's Gilmore. Now this is a run up the middle. Nothing. That's how it's supposed to be done. Look at DeMarcus Lawrence and Hankins. Parsons is setting the edge. Lawrence is setting the edge, and then he squeezed the gap. He did his job. He set the edge and then collapsed the gap. Boom. That's it. That's how it's supposed to look when you run up the middle. And you're not supposed to be able to get outside, and they couldn't get outside. There's nowhere to bounce because watch this. Right. Well, he's not a guy that's going back. That's Dylan anyway, ain't it? Or Wilson. He ain't bouncing nowhere. That's not Jones. So that's a guy that wants to run up the middle. So I don't really count that. I thought it was Jones. I thought they were trying to keep Jones in the middle. But then Jones ain't out there. All right, here go Wilson, left tackle. Running at the left tackle. Let's see. Boom. They do their job front side somewhat, but get washed. Osa going to get washed out of there right there. And Bell's trying to cut up field, which is better than it usually does. At least he tried to get up field, but Osa isn't holding ground, and Parsons isn't closing ground. And you see Curse kind of playing backside contain for that bootleg he's watching, but he has to now fill, and he's kind of flowing to the ball, kind of floating. Like, I don't know why he's skipping. Once you see that the quarterback don't got that ball, you got to move, brother. I said, boom. So, yeah, Osa gets pushed out of there, way out of there. Hankins, I mean, I can't, right there, he going to fall here because they're falling into him. But, I mean, this was like a counter trade type of play anyway. So, I can't say the front side they did anything wrong because they were reading the running back's first step, right? They were reading this. Watch it. Boom. So he looks like he's running stretch or off tackle. That's what they're reading. Osa gone. Parsons didn't get there. And yes, Osa and Parsons on this one, backside. Boom. Parsons didn't even look like he gave much effort. Watch Parsons on this play. Watch the effort. Now, if you, I'm saying it's not to clown on him, but if you're Jerry Jones, do you put your franchise in the hands of this man? Does good here though. Let's see. Him and D-Law do good here. Let's see. Boom. D-Law actually played okay this game, to be honest, so far. He gave up a play, but just one. Everything else he's done was okay. I haven't seen D-Law play that bad. I don't even understand who was talking trash to who in this game. Was it Parsons or D-Law? I don't get it. Did they cut me off? Let me see. Donald should have been there as well. Nobody maintaining gap integrity. Okay, cool. Y'all good. All right, I was making sure. Going back. All right, Parsons did well. He just stands this guy up and gets upfield and creates a kill zone. Osa's doing well. Hankins just causing a mess. Boom. D-Law goes and gets it. Good play off the defensive line. Collectively, everybody played well on that play. Just got to do it consistently. Here, Golson and Wilson. Front side, I think Clark still on the edge. Parsons backside contain. Everybody else is washed out of there. Clark and those guys, they all think that this is a stretch play again. Think that they're running off tackle or stretch. And then they're leaving all this space and backside containing. Those guys aren't being patient enough backside. Trust those four guys up front. You got Osa, who's getting pushed off there, Nev up there, Bell over there, and I think that's Armstrong to the outside. If you're Chauncey and you're Clark, yeah, you have to read this front side, but you have to still, you can't leave this much space out here, is basically what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it was just Dan Quinn's scheme or what, but I don't get why there was always space for counters in this defense. Even though they stopped the ball for a 3-yard gain, I just don't like the amount. The opportunities are there. That's why they keep taking them. Even when you stop them, it's just making it harder for yourself just off the way that defense is designed. Like you're making it hard on yourself. Like nobody's anchoring, everybody's moving and getting moved, but these guys can anchor. Look at Nev; they can anchor when they need to. Look at Chauncey. Look at Osa. When you asking them guys to run down the line of scrimmage, or you asking them to stunt on run plays, like you complicating it for no reason. That's kind of probably why Zimmer came in and started his 2-gap scheme and said, "Look, man, we just gonna just hold these guys up and let the other guys be athletic." All right, so let's see what's happening here. Armstrong in good position. Parsons is dealing with that trap. Let's see what happens. He gets trapped out of there. Nothing really happens. 2-yard gain, though. Let's see who stops this. Neville. Good play by Neville and Golston. Yep. Neville and Golston both fought through their blocks and did what defensive line is supposed to do. The interior defensive line not playing too bad right now. I think Osa fell on one, got pancaked on one play. Mozzie took a side on one play for 27 yards. And let's see what happened. There's another 1-yard gain. This is Hankins this time. Middle of the field. Hankins forced to cut back. D-Law is see how tight that cutback lane is? D-Law does this right. This is backside contain. So Parsons is forcing the ball back by setting the edge here. Boom. So is Hankins. They're both forcing the ball back at D-Law, but there is no space. You see how now Osa's probably got pushed out a little bit. Let me see. But Osa's now closed the gap a little bit. Clark is in the gap he's supposed to be in, and DeMarcus Lawrence is right off of Osa's hip. There is no space to cut back. And then Bell is where he's supposed to be, like sort of like playing Will. Right. So boom. That forced the ball to stay front side action. And Hankins was able to make the play. Come on, Bell. Stop the I don't like the tough guy shit after the play. Like, bro, do that before the play. You know what I'm saying? Do that during the play, I mean. What you doing? DeMarcus Lawrence holds up front side. Parsons does a better job of closing on the backside right now, sealing. And Hankins get moved just a little bit. Curse is pursuing off the back. Bell gets in the gap, makes a hit. Curse finishes it. Not bad. 2-yard gain. Good play. I'll say y'all got moved a little bit, but that's the game, the run game, folks, for that game. Let me see. We're going to do another one. 2022. Well, we watched this one. That's what 12 run plays he's out there for. That's it. There, he did something there. This was his best playoff game, though. He actually did something in this game. Everybody did, but it wasn't a running quarterback either. But everybody did something in this game. If we would have played every playoff game like we played this, we would have a Super Bowl. I'm going to the next week, the divisional round, because I want to see how we lost to. I think it was San Fran. Here we go. Because this was the team that just said we're gonna run the ball down your throats. Tom Brady and them actually tried to pass the ball, which is you see they only ran the ball 12 times because we was up too, so they didn't have to stop the run, so it doesn't count. They ain't have no. There's 12 running plays in the Tampa Bay game. That's it. They ran the ball 12 times, and Tom Brady ain't a running quarterback, so he ain't gonna get no help from him. All right, boom. DeMarcus Lawrence and Parsons was ready on that play though. Let's watch it. Hold on a second. Let me blow this up. Let me make sure y'all can see before I go. I need to make sure y'all cool. Yep. All right, cool. Y'all still good. All right, I'm back at it. Parsons backside, they ain't bothering, they ain't blocking him on this play. And DeMarcus Lawrence seals. So let's see. They're setting them up though. So look, they're just gonna run a standard sweep, right? Because what they want is those counters in the I guarantee you in the second half, you're gonna start seeing McCaffrey put his foot in the ground and cut back towards where Micah Parsons is right now. But to get you to think that every time you see this setup that they're running front side, which is why you get so much over pursuit in the second half, is because they have to first sell it by running and staying front side on purpose like they do on this play here. Boom. He ran right at DeMarcus Lawrence on purpose. Boom. But he did a good job of sealing the edge, playing physical, dealing with the fullback. Good job, DeMarcus. Marcus Lawrence sealing the edge again. This time, who gets moved? This is Hankins, I think, gets moved. Hankins is being double teamed. Carlos Watkins got kind of turned out of there. But DeMarcus Lawrence, this is how effective setting the edge is. This is how effective it is. Hankins, this ain't the best rep by Hankins or Watkins. They both kind of, Hankins is flowing, but he gets moved. Watkins gets turned right there. So there is a gap. But because he set the edge and Parsons pursues on the backside pretty good on this one, they're still able to stop this play for 3 yards. Set the edge, folks. All right, let's see. Boom. I can't say Parsons did anything bad on this play, but this is another thing. Like if you're me, if you want my money, and I'm gonna just give you this dialogue real quick. And if I'm Jerry, right? Even though I'm not Jerry, and you don't want my money, but if I were, and you did, I would want the ball to be funneled to you on every play. I would want you to be the guy that says, I want the ball. Just like the offense wants the ball every play, I want you to be the guy that wants the ball every play because you want to take up a third of the salary cap on the team, or you and CD and Dak, right? Then you got to want the ball. CD going to have the ball because he's your number one receiver. Dak's going to have the ball because he's the quarterback. So you going to have to pay them. But defense, you can't just be a guy that sets edges during the run. It has to be like this defense is funneled to you and through you, meaning everything, all the action is to you. Because you're on the field, we're able to shift over here. These guys can trust that you can hold up 9 times out of 10 on your own over here versus traps, versus double teams, versus all kinds of stuff, right? Like we need to be able to trust that you can do that. So like we see DeMarcus Lawrence doing when DeMarcus Lawrence plays settled, he's showing he can do it. It's not DeMarcus Lawrence's ability to stop the run that's the problem. It's his tendencies to jump the B gap too often. That's the problem. And dealing with a running quarterback. So another thing that I was saying on Twitter that people kind of misconstrued. When you see a team that is ranking in, let's say, low in the run, bottom of run versus the run, right? The stat is skewed because a running quarterback to me does not count versus the run. And the reason is if I see that you're in a pass formation and we send a pass rushing package out there, those people aren't out there because they stopped the run anyway. They're out there because they stopped the pass. And when you drop back to pass against that and then don't get a pass off because they've covered and those guys have given you no time to get settled as a quarterback, so you decide to scramble. I don't care if you get 40 yards on the ground. That is not a run play. And that has nothing to do with your run defense. It has something to do with your scramble defense. You need to work on scramble drills like containing and being more disciplined in your pass rush lanes, but that doesn't count against the way you run the ball or stop the run, I mean, as a defense. But when you look at your total run yards, it does. And it doesn't. You get what I'm saying? Your true run stops, you have to watch what are the real running plays, like design runs from the quarterback. They count. Wild card counts and running plays count. Reverses count, but not as much. Like if a team reverses on you for 50 yards, I don't look at that and say you can't stop the run. They just tricked you. It's a trick play, kind of. You know what I'm saying? It's not a standard run play where I'm just lining up and running the ball at you. It's like subterfuge or some misdirection. You might get 1 or 2 of those in the season, 3 of those in the season where it's like crazy. It happens to us a lot. So you should know teams obviously don't want to just keep running up the gut on you. So if you could just get tougher on the outside, teams won't be able to do what they want to do against you. And they probably will run the ball less, which will help you pass rush more. You get what I'm saying? This is crazy. I'm just a guy sitting at home, chilling. You know what I mean? I could do whatever I want with my time. Instead, I'm here. Feel me? Craziness. Craziness. Boom. All right. Let's see you on the field. That's Watkins and Hankins. Let's see what they do in the middle. Boom. They're reading. This is a counter, but they're reading that this was a dive or a gap run. So they're both inside. Hankins is inside. Boom. Hankins kind of get washed out of there. Lawrence is sealing. Lawrence does his job. Parsons tries to press the backside, but they both did their job on this play. It's just well designed little lead block by Williams. It was crazy. Who the hell want to deal with him? That's wild. They just mean. This is just a mean run. Like, look, we just gonna make our mean guy get on your non-mean guy. Go hit somebody. Boop. Craziness. Hit Bar ain't want none of that. They couldn't even deal with Debo. That's wild. Yeah, slam on the neck, man. What you doing? Get him out of here. But they so far they've stopped the run okay so far. It's just the toughness of it. Like they got to be able to do it for 12 rounds. This is a gap run. They just ran right at him. Let me see what happens here. And yeah, right up the gizzard. Boom. They ran right at Nev on that one. Here go Osa stopping the ball. Like they making some good plays so far. I mean, these games don't be blowouts either, so they playing okay right now. I just don't see anything happening for our guy Micah Parsons. Boom. Right there. Boom. He seals the edge and cuts this back in though. He's gonna meet that. Boom. They knocked him out of there, but I can't be mad at him for that because he did the job. Does his job here. Osa gets rid of his guy. Gets upfield, makes that tackle. Good job, Osa, too. No gain, Hankins. That was a scramble drill, though. He's supposed to throw the ball. Or maybe it wasn't. Who knows? It might have been designed. It was designed to get, I see what they were doing. All right, so what they're doing, they're faking that tunnel screen to the left to try to get Osa and Parsons to spread to the left. Boom, pause. Yeah, like they did. See, Parsons left because of that move right there. Parsons vacates. They're playing off of Parsons, or trying to play off him right now, but he's still in the backside okay so far this game. He just hasn't been able to do anything, but they're occupying him where he's not able to get comfortable just flying upfield. So from the defensive end position, you can take him out of games. And I think these are the blueprints that he's going to have to work with and work against, no matter where he goes. If he's on the edge, this is how teams are going to attack him because he hasn't proven yet in a big game or any of our losses that he can deal with that. Boom. Good job, Hankins. But you can see San Fran's game plan so far. You can kind of tell what it is. This is Parsons off ball in the middle of the field. Boom. He's playing coverage. Where is he going? This is going to be a run play because this is another scramble drill. It's only for 2 yards, but like I said, those 2 yards against quarterbacks don't count so far. They look like they. I mean, I don't remember this game. I remember it, but I don't remember. I didn't remember how every step went. But they don't look so bad so far, right? Parsons off ball right now. It must be the pass game and just working their way up the field because I'm watching just the run plays and the run game so far in this game. They haven't given up more than 8 yards. I don't think. Boom. Rest of the time it's like 2s and 3s and 1s. Parsons attacks the line of scrimmage there. You got Chauncey and Osa kind of cutting this back inside. You got Wilson in good position. You got Hankins flowing to the ball. Wilson gets pushed in the back. That was corny. But Diggs does his job and Hankins comes and finishes it up. Good play. They force him, but this is what forces him to stay front side. So Debo is either looking for the counter now or he might be looking for it later. But watch this. Watch Parsons. Parsons makes it so that no matter what you do, I'm peeking, right? So you ain't cutting back here. You ain't gonna cut that back. So now you stuck with Diggs, but that's a good one for Debo. You're like, all right, I'm gonna just hit him. Boom. But Hankins was there to clean it up for whatever happened. Or whatever happened. That's because though, Chauncey actually sealed the edge properly, and forced it, forced it to stay in the middle of the field. He couldn't bounce it outside. He couldn't bounce it back because of Parsons. Parsons off ball right now. Boom. Reading, reading, reading. Boom. Good run fit for everybody. I got a problem with this. Not even here. His presence here. Let's see. Doris Armstrong gets upfield. Hankins presses that gap. Parsons reading. This is what I think they should have did with him the whole damn game. But either way, they didn't run the ball very well so far. And maybe this is the first half. Let me see what half we're in. We are. This is the second quarter. So yeah, it's the first half. All right, cool. So far they've held up pretty well. You can see it now. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens here. Parsons kind of off ball. What they doing here? This is them just playing outside linebacker. All right, no, he's not off ball. Oh. He gets upfield. He does his job. Cut this ball back in. He didn't really have anything to do. He could have undercut this guy, but it was no. He didn't play hero ball here. He did what we asked. Dorrance is kind of doing what he's supposed to do too. I think this is Chauncey who gonna get out of there. They just ran at these guys because they were light in the middle. You got Chauncey and you got they looked at the personnel and said we can run up the middle successfully here. We got Curse. You got 3 undersized guys and LVE in the middle. We ain't worried about that. This is a light box, so they're in a pass formation. And Cowboys came out in dime. This is a dime coverage formation, big nickel or dime. I would say dime because there's only one linebacker on the field. So, with that said, you see that they're going to run right at the middle of the field because Chauncey's there. Chauncey and Osa. Osa is out of there. Chauncey gets out of there. LVE is out of there. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He gets there and just stands this guy up, but LV needs to go. Go to the ball. He's waiting. Jesus Christ. They funneling the ball to this guy though. This where LV is where Micah should be. Somebody else could do what Micah's doing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else could do that. You don't like in most of these clips, Micah's doing his job. I haven't complained about him, right? But the problem with paying him for this is anybody. I mean, we could get somebody else to do that on run plays. Right? We need the ball to be funneled to you so you can make plays. They can take him out of the play by just running away from him or running at him and making him just have to set a good edge, which he's actually doing his job. He's playing discipline this game. So I don't have much complaint about him or Lawrence in this game. Micah Parsons here this is even a pretty good play for him, right? Watch this. All right. You want to take Kittle straight to the ball. Boom. Good. He closes that gap pretty fast this time. He wasn't doing that last in the year after against the Packers, but here he does. This is good. Boom. Close to the ball. Almost made himself a tackle. That's cool. But again, anybody can kind of do. Nealon can do that. Anybody can do that. Any running back. Any linebacker can do that, or outside our defensive end. They can't do what Micah Parsons can do elsewhere. Now here, all right, this is the first one that they ran at him on. He gives up 5 yards here, but look at what they do to get it off. Boom, they double him, peel him out, spill it to LV. They got him doubled and sealed, and then Kittles went and got LV too. Look at that. Parsons gets rid of the second guy at the end, and then just comes and makes his tackle though. Cool. Here's DeMarcus Lawrence. Good job, DeMarcus Lawrence. That was very good, DeMarcus. See, they're hoping that they were looking at the film from the rest of the losses for the season where these counters and these cutbacks are working. But when these guys stay home and do what they're supposed to do, it's supposed to look like this. Boom. So he reads, and then he sees that fullback coming back at him. He's like, oh no, let me stay home. Gets rid of him with one arm, goes and gets Debo. Good work, DeMarcus Lawrence. Very good. Good work. Parsons off ball. Got Chauncey on the field. Let's see. Boom. Parsons meets the fullback in the gap. Keys properly. Wilson just gets hit in the gap. I ain't mad at nobody really on this play. The edges are set. Even though Chauncey got pushed out of there, he got doubled out of there. But Parsons exchanged really fast, filled, and LV sealed as well. So maybe Chauncey was supposed to crash the B gap. No, LV is actually outside contained. So Chauncey still did get washed out of there. But Parsons did replace him. Boom. And then Wilson. Yeah, that was a good tackle at the end. 7 yards on that play. But yeah, they haven't gotten any big yardage though. 7 yards is probably the most. 7 or 8. Now this is a pass formation that they decided to run out of. See what happens here. This gets 5. Parsons sets the edge. D-Law does this thing. Hankins gets an arm on him but doesn't finish. But 5-yard play, good play, but nothing special. They ain't do nothing special to us. Van Der Esch. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. That's enough. I don't need to go through the whole game. I'm gonna go through more, but for right now, I want to talk for a second. I've been going for too long. All right. So far, right? I already know we haven't seen anything, and you guys haven't seen anything out of Parsons. We've seen some D-Law though. I've seen some D-Law in the Packers game that was okay. Against the run anyway, he did okay. D-Law did in the playoffs. Parsons didn't really do much. D-Law is doing okay in the San Fran game so far, and Parsons is doing okay too. To be honest, they're able to take him out because they're not really They're attacking him by blocking him, but they're not. They're cutting him off, right? So he can't really get into the play. But they're not like running through him. He's not like looking bad, right? He just hasn't. They're just able to not deal with him. Like, we're just not gonna deal with you. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, so far, the argument to say that we were supposed to pay him, $50 million a year, I don't see where the $50 million a year player is. I saw it in his first 2 years. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The last two, he cool, but it's not where you want it to be, right? So you got to factor that in. Now, what I will do though, is go back, let's say, to what was his rookie year. We can go back to that too and see what happened in the playoffs. Yeah, I think San Fran put us out in that game in that year too. But again, Parsons is a great player. He is a generational talent, but if you don't use him correctly, he's not worth $50 million. So I understand why Jerry Jones did what he did in this case. What I do want to get into is Kenny Clark's film a little bit because I want to see what his impact is on a game versus just seeing, hey, this guy is highlights look crazy, but I want to see what does he do in a full game and what does everybody else get because he's on the field. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm doing this in the playoffs. Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. We're gonna look at him versus us, and let's see what his impact on that game was versus us in the playoffs. We're gonna look at Kenny Clark. But let's look at his impact on the game and be honest about it. We're gonna see, did you do something, nothing, or did you get exposed, but they couldn't take advantage of it? We're gonna just watch and see what happens. But either way, I want to see what his effect is on a game, and let's watch a couple playoff games. But then we'll get an understanding for what we're getting because we've already seen that we can't lie and say that Parsons is more effective in a playoff game than Lawrence. Lawrence is more effective in playoffs than Parsons. There's guys who have more stats and more success in the playoffs than Parsons has had so far. I think even last year, it's guys who are nobodies that are having more success in the playoffs so far than Parsons has had. And not to crap on him for that, but I'm just saying when it comes time to pay a guy, what am I paying you for a regular season, or am I paying you to because I think you could take us elsewhere? I mean, what am I paying you to do? So far, we haven't seen that, and it's not the regular season because we've seen it. If you add in judging off of that, Dak is the best quarterback in the game, and Parsons will be the best player in the game until you get to the playoffs. And we want to win, and that's what we keep arguing and complaining about, right? But let me get back to the film real quick. Let me go and get Kenny Clark for you. Let me see how many more plays we got, and then maybe I'll let y'all watch watch Parsons out. How many more we got? Oh, yeah, a lot. Let's see if they get any more yards on us though, because maybe y'all want to see that. We'll watch a couple more. Let me see. Any big runs? Not really. They just out physical us the whole game. There's no big runs in this entire playoff game. They just kind of like, all right, they didn't care. We just gonna they ran the ball 32 times and don't have more than 8 yards, and they never got 10 yards on no carry. None. They just kept doing it. Never got 10 yards or no more than one. They just wanted to keep us balanced. Now, if I go look at pass, I guarantee you, because they're making these guys pay attention to they got one 13-yard run at the end of the game. That's it. The rest of them was no more than 8. It's just that they ran the ball 32 times. 32 times, which is crazy. Go back. All right, so y'all can tell me, y'all want to watch the rest of the San Fran game before we get into Kenny Clark, or do you want me to just go to Kenny Clark? Just type in Kenny if you want Kenny. Type in Niners if you want the Niners game, the rest of it. San Fran. Tripping Aces say San Fran. We'll see if any of y'all. Kenny. Come on, Kenny. Kenny. Kenny look like he winning. Kenny. 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 All right, everybody said the pass is the pass. Let's look at Kenny. All right, let's do it then. Kenny it is. Let's see what Kenny did in the past against us. All right. 2023, I think. 2023 post divisional knows wild card. Kenny Clark. Come on, bro. You know you can. I'm gonna erase that. Boom. Boom. All right, Kenny Clark played 47 plays. All right, let me share this screen real quick, and we're gonna get at it. Let's see what we're gonna watch all 47 too. Oh, no, we're not. We're gonna matter of fact, yeah, because I want to see what he did versus pass too. I don't want to just do it versus run. So we're gonna just watch everything that Kenny Clark did, and then we're gonna get a good understanding for what impact he had on this game. We already saw Parsons had no impact on this game whatsoever. Same game. All right. Now we say that one player is a washed up defensive tackle. That's what they were trying to say. And you got the other who is a savant, but we don't win nothing with him. So let's just see where we really at with this. All right. I'm not sharing yet. Hold on. Let me go present. Share screen. Football. Football. All right. Blow him up. Boom. All right. First play. Let's see. This is a run play. Kenny 1-on-1 with Kenny's to the left in 3-tech, and he's dealing with Martin. Let's see. You know, Martin's this is a good matchup too. I think Martin was healthy during this game. Kenny's reading stretch. You know, Martin kind of got him out of there. Ran at Kenny on that one. Got 6 yards. But, I mean, wasn't that bad. Wasn't like he got beat up or something. This is Pollard running to the guard. We're running right at Kenny just stands. Has got that was this is why you watch the film and not the stats. Because I think Slayton gets the tackle here. Yeah, Slayton's gonna get the tackle here. But look at what Kenny does. He don't even move his ball like a wall when he want to be. Watch Kenny Clark right here. He gonna stand still up, stands him up, still ain't moved yet. Still is his legs is look at still legs. His legs is pumping. He ain't moved at all. Watch this. Pumping. Ain't go nowhere. Like, God damn. But the rest of those guys got to eat because Kenny Clark made a wall. Like, so he had an impact there already. This is a scramble from Dak. Let's see why he did it. This is a pass play then. Well, Kenny Clark is spying. Look at that shit. Look at that. Already having an impact. So smart play too, but I think this was schemed. And I call this a heat seeker coverage. When you see a defensive tackle, my brother, rest in peace, DJ Dennis Quaid, my little brother. I passed away in 2020. He was a defensive tackle, but he used to call this heat seeker coverage where he wanted to be a running back. So he thought he could move and he liked to just get out in space and do shit, right? But anyway, Jackson State used to do this with him when he played for Jackson State. He would get upfield or get upfield early in the game, but then he'd drive back and he'd get intercept. He actually, when he played arena football too, he got an interception return for a touchdown doing this. But same thing, heat seeker, meaning a defensive tackle is not being keyed on as a potential coverage guy. So a quarterback pre-snap, especially a quarterback like Dak, who's good pre-snap, you'll see him pre-snap. Watch Dak. See, he's making adjustments, right? He ain't reading Kenny Clark. The reason I call it heat seeker, because if you ran a hot route into this area thinking, hey, the middle of the field may be open because of the way they're aligned, right? Or they're in man because of the way they're aligned. If you read man because of this alignment, and let me show you, I'm not gonna go to another screen. I'm just gonna show you from this one. Just imagine that you can see the defensive backs, because I don't feel like changing the screen. It's a lot to do. I don't feel like that. But if you were reading this coverage, you would just say, all right, the middle of the screen is likely wide open because everybody looks like they're playing man, but they're not. They're in zone, right? But they aligned up over everyone like as if they were in man. They drop back in zone. They're playing like match man, I guess, because he's going to pass off. You see him pointing to Kenny Clark. But if Dak read this how they're trying to force him to hold the ball longer. But if he read this as man initially, that's probably why he still has the ball, because he now has to process post snap what's going on. And this drag route that's coming across the screen, Kenny Clark is on that. Dak went to go pull the ball down. He has nobody to really throw the ball to, so he takes off. Dak looking slow. You got to run, Dak. You look like Peyton Manning out there, man. Running slow as hell. This pass. Let's see. Clark ain't had to do much here. No gain. Rico Dowdle. Clark don't move on the run plays, man. It's not no cutting nothing back. It's just a wall. So he gonna create a wall. Again, he get another. To me, this is credit. Boom. So right here, you can't counter this at all. Van Ness is back there, right? But you can't counter this at all. You can't, because if you try, Clark and Van Ness are in good position. So is, I think, Mitchell, whoever 58 is. Boom. Who's that on the front? Gary. Who's that on the front side? Let me see. No, I don't know who that is. But he's gonna meet. And that was a good squeeze right there. So he squeezed that gap, gives him less space, and met Smith at the edge rather than waiting for Smith. Even though he doesn't get the ball, but seals the edge okay. But I'm watching Clark. Clark just makes sure there's nowhere to cut back to, and those guys up the front get to eat. So he's a guy immediately you see already his impact so far is he makes guys around him better, and without there's no flash to it. He's just making the guys around him better. He gets upfield here. This is a stunt, good stunt. Let's see. So his job is to get upfield so that 52 can loop around him. Boom. We see that. So 52 is just going to meet Martin, and then he's waiting for Kenny Clark to shade that inside shoulder. Boom, which he does right there. Now he releases, and there goes the loop. And he's supposed to hit Dak in the face. And he gets in his face at the last second and affects the throw. Again, he sacrificed. He was a wedge right there for his player. That's not anything special that other players don't do, but you can see so far, he's been aiding and abetting everyone else around him. These are mostly pass plays. Let's watch his. He got good power. Don't get anywhere on that one. Dak overthrew that severely. See what's happening here. Boom. Ew. Killed the young bull. Who that? That's Smith. You can see immediately. 'Cause we know how everybody knows how strong Smith is and how good he is. Watch this. Forklifting. That's Kenny Clark right there. Okay. All right. His impact is apparent. Like he said, my film speaks for itself. And it really do. That one right there, he just moved Smith, and I respect that. If you could just stand him up like anytime, even if you do that once a game, that's still saying something. And he's attacking Smith and Martin this whole game. So this is good film to watch on him anyway, because it's not a highlight reel. Here's that interception. Does he get any pressure? Who gets pressure? Boom. Nobody really. But he giving Martin a run for his money, but Martin recovers on that counter at the end. But still interception. They were just trying to keep Dak in the pocket and force him to throw the ball. I remember that play though. Rashawn Gary makes this tackle. Let's see. That was Clark again. Clark is like, he ain't getting no stats. Like Rashawn Gary get this tackle, but let's look at why. They're playing 3-4 on this one. Clark is attacking the B gap, and then he just going look at how hard it is for Tyron Smith to deal with him though. Like he don't take no steps back. You can't get him to go nowhere, man. Let's see how. But I hated this about Dallas's line in the first place. They run block like they're pass blocking, even though their first step is forward on this one. It's just that he couldn't deal with it. Like Tyron Smith gained no ground, none. So right here is like, look, you stay front side, you're done. But this is what I be saying too. On the other side of the ball, when we talk about sealing the edge, all Rashawn Gary is doing right now, he's gonna get this tackle, right? But that's because he's patient. If he tried to shoot the B gap and get up here and misses, it makes Kenny Clark's play here look like nothing. Because if Rashawn Gary, who's all the way to the right, shot inside, let's just watch him again. If he shot inside, which we see a lot of our guys doing, this could be scheme, but if he shot inside here anywhere, like stunted or got inside and didn't set this edge, for whatever reason, you see where Clark is. Clark is making them stay front side. Everybody is making this play stay front side because Pollard now has to wait and figure out where he can go with this ball because there's no daylight, right? So Clark goes to go get him, right? Now Gary's going to get a tackle because he has to try to find daylight. Now Gary gets the tackle for being patient. He gets rewarded for doing his job, and that allowed Clark to do his job and look good doing it. However, when you see guys that don't do this very well, which is on our side of the ball, it doesn't matter if Osa, Mozzie, whoever's in here, or Clark this year. If Clark will look bad this year, if you have guys on the edge, if you had Clark and Parsons still on the same team, it still wouldn't matter. Because if you don't have a guy that's setting the edge, is committed to setting the edge, consistently, and that can do it, this don't work anyway. Because he'll be Tony Pollard took off on you right there. Get what I'm saying? But Rashawn Gary gets that because of Clark's penetration and his patience. This is why you watch film. Clark has gotten no tackles so far, but has he had a major impact on this game or a big enough impact on this game? On the run game so far, for sure. Every rep, he's looked well. This is versus pass. He's out there doing his thing, ain't doing that. All right, I've been up here for a minute too. I'm gonna finish this, John, but it's like my back killing me. All right, he gets a tackle for loss here. So we already had his impact helping other guys, and now he get to eat. Let's see here. Boom. He took Smith to the first gap, right? So let's watch the edges first. Why does he have to stay in the middle of the field? All right, the edges are set. Van Ness and whoever 96 is, ain't nowhere for you to go. There's a kill zone. They're funneling the ball to the triangle defense, meaning the two tackles and the middle linebacker. That's the triangle that you're looking at. You see that triangle, 77, 63, 27 in the north. You see those three? Boom. That's the triangle I'm talking about. But he's going to take his guy, Tyron Smith, all pro Tyron Smith, and he going to take him to the first gap, he forced the cut. This is like when you throw a dummy punch or a feint to force a guy to move his defense so you can hit him, right? He's going to force the cut by taking Tyron Smith down the line. So Pollard's like, all right, that gap's closing. I'm going to cut back. Now watch this. He sees it though. He read that. And Tyron can't read it because Tyron's not looking behind him. So he takes Tyron to the first gap right there, boom, 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 and just give him a and one crossover and makes his tackle for loss. Look like he eating to me. So far, I think I done ran like, I don't know, maybe 10 plays. Let me see how many plays I ran, but I know he's had an effect on like 4. So far, I've run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like 12 plays, and he's affected about 4 of them. But some of those plays are passing plays. He's affected all of the running plays, 4 or 5 of them. You see. He does a little twist on this one, forces Dak out of the pocket. Dak gets sacked. He's having his effect. So here he is here. There's a twist or a stunt going on between 95 and himself. 95's job is to be the wedge. So 95 is going to get, he looks like he's getting pushed out of there by Smith, but he wanted to occupy 63 and Zach Martin so they can't block Clark. Clark's going to scrape across that. Now Smith has to use his legs and get back in position. He does a good job recovering, kind of. But Dak was going to have to get out of there because I think Gary was on him too. Who else was on him? Or 96 is on him. Those guys twist, boom. Oh, yeah, they both. Oh, no, Gary came inside right there, boom. So it's Gary and Clark right now forcing Dak out of the pocket. And then Dak gets sacked because I don't know why you don't throw that away, Dak. What the hell are you doing? That was dumb. Dak. That was dumb, Dak. This is a pass play. Damn. Let's watch this again. He collapsed the shit out the pocket, though. Quick. Watch this. His get off is good here. Boom. 2 steps. He already, deep. And then Pollard was picking up the middle linebacker thing. I thought he was tripping, but he wasn't. There's another pass play. Pass plays, I mean, if you see a good rush, you see a good rush. I think he's rushing okay. But I'm not really worried about his pass plays because he wasn't brought here to be a pass rusher. But he will get you some hustle plays and some pressures in the middle of the field, maybe 3, 4, 5 sacks somewhere in there. I haven't even looked at his stats, but I'm just looking at the way he plays. He ain't trying to get to the ball carrier. He got a good get off though. It was an attempted stunt here, but I think there was a miscommunication. Oh no, he got held. There was supposed to be a stunt there, but 95 got held. Cool. Good play by Dak, 16 yards. The pass is working. The run has been shut down so far. Like the run ain't did nothing. So Dak is forced to pass the ball. Or they're just passing the ball, but they haven't done nothing. Let me see this pass rush. Clark is over there with Martin. He tries to go up and under right here. So up and under is when you try to get his shoulders pinned back. So you try to get Martin's shoulders back, but Martin does a good job of like keeping his shoulders square and keeping his base wide and bending at his waist, right? Boom. But he turns him just a little bit, but Martin's holding on. He tries to come under there. Martin recovers. That was good by Martin. Martin's hard to beat. So watch those reps, boom. But you can see the move. That was up and under. But would have worked against a lesser man. Yeah, Martin yoking him up on those pass reps so far. But I expect that. I don't expect him to beat Martin all game, but I want to see if he does beat him this game. That'll be good. Bootlegs. They don't even want to deal with it, so they're just like, all right, we're gonna bootleg outside. But they're covering the hell out the field because Dak has nowhere to go with the ball so far. It looks like. Kenny Clark to your right. Oh, very good that time. Let's get off on this one. He forced. He read this play pretty well too, and he forced Martin in the backfield. So you would think that they're reading inside zone because they're baiting the inside zone. So Kenny Clark is actually smart for this because you see how much space is between Clark and 94. Like that's all day. You can inside zone that all day, right? So let's see what happened. I don't know why they didn't do that. Actually, I would have ran inside zone. I don't know why the hell you run this outside, but they run this little pitch play, boom. But he's all by the time the ball gets to Pollard, Clark has already taken Martin all the way to Pollard. Good play by him. I mean, they don't go anywhere anyway, but it was good play design by the Cowboys, even though I think they should have ran inside zone. And it was a good play by Kenny Clark, even though he didn't have anything he could do on that play. There wasn't much he could do about that. That's another pass play. And versus Martin, ain't much happening. Pollard running this time. Boom. Yep. You just don't run at him. Like he make it so like he might not get no stats. Look, right here. He moved Martin. He's occupying the B gap and pressing the A gap, meaning he's playing two. This is two gapping almost. Almost, even though he's not stacking and squared up, but he's playing his gap penetrating, but forcing Martin to collapse the other gap with his back. See that? Boom. See that? He collapsed the A gap by himself with Martin's body. Give him the strong arm, a stiff arm, steering wheel. Boom. See that? Straight armed him. And he closes this gap, forces a cut. The rest of those guys get to eat. But that's because he was the forced player on this play. Watch this. Gary don't have to do much standing next to him. Gary just sitting there right there. Look, I'll just set this edge and chill, wait for that to come back my way. And it does. It's a pass play. Let's see what he does, though. He got chipped on that one. He's having his impact, though. Wasn't like it was a great move, but the pocket, he did collapse the pocket here. Let's see. Yeah. He gets up the field. That just sees the opportunity, gets out of there. It wasn't like a real pressure. It was just nowhere to go with the football. So I don't really give him credit for that. That was something Mozzie could do. Anybody could do that. So it wasn't a special play, is what I'm saying. They like to do a lot of twists. They've been twisting a lot in the middle of the field. So he likes to do those. Let's see how well he does it when he gets here. Mm-hmm. We get to the line of scrimmage and run the ball. Throw the ball with Dak Prescott. I don't understand. That's how bad our run game was, I guess. If it was a run, let's see what would happen here. Kenny Clark's on this side with Smith. Stand Smith up. Nobody's gained ground on this guy yet. I can tell you that. And we got a pretty good, strong offensive line. Nobody's gained any ground on him at all. He balling from that standpoint. Another pass play. I'll keep thinking about taking the pass plays off. See how many more plays we got. All right. Yeah. Because I want to see him in some action. Pass plays ain't really doing that. Boom. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Even there, like, who don't do their job on this play? So 91 is gonna get kicked out of there by Tyron. Yeah, 91 and then the linebacker got sealed by Ferguson. So they're crossing each other. Boom. He knows where the ball's going. He points right to it. Boom. Look at the get off. Get off is sickening. And he stood Smith. Smith looked like he got punched in the stomach. Like my collarbone. And we know how tough Smith is. Watch it. Boom. Ew. Yoked him up. He did his job. Shit. God damn. Smith felt that. It's a physical man, though, man. Especially every time it's run, you know, and it don't matter if it's Smith or Martin. He hasn't lost a rep yet. Boom. Swims outside and then presses that. Jesus Christ. Just watch him. Now you can watch anybody else. Even when they giving up some yards, like, right, they go give up 2 yards on this one. Boom. Yeah, the rest of those guys can eat though and flow free to the ball because he's out there. Watch what he's doing. Watch this. So if the ball was coming his side, if that was outside zone, that's what he read, right? He's already in position. So that's his first read. That's how fast he reads this. He read this before the snap. He's thinking this got to be outside zone, right? So watch this, because that's the way he plays it. Boom. He gets in position. All right, boom. Now it's a counter. Now he's reading counter. This is the second read. Now he reads counter, and look, I'm gonna push Tyron back into the gap. So if this came back into if this ball was being cut inside instead of outside zone, it was cut inside. If 93 wasn't in position, he already like there's nowhere to go over here. There's a wall over here. You forced to deal with the free backside defenders. That was again him just being a wall. He ain't make no stat so far except for one. He got one tackle for a loss. Everything else, he got a face mask on this one. Another tackle for no gain right here. Boom. Then he back in that heat seeker coverage. Boom. Then he chased Dak down. Boom. Smacked him up. For every time he's done this heat seeker coverage, so they must have been reading them drag routes and said, all right, in those rub routes, they're like, we're just gonna jump in the lane. That's what he's doing. Look, he's just in the lane looking for them. He's not trying to hit them. He's just trying to make sure he did try to hit them. Because you're allowed to within 5 yards at that. Which I used to say, didn't I say in the footage with DeMarcus Lawrence, I said, yo, they need to start pushing those wide receivers. You know, they don't do it though. I don't get why, but they won't. Hold on a second. Let's see. He said, "I'm new. What we watching? You watching Kenny Clark's film? My bad." So for those, I'm on the screen watching Kenny Clark's film, because we've already went through some of Micah Parsons footage from the playoffs, and I'm gonna get back to a convo a little later. I'm working on a piece related to this footage, so expect that. But so far, Kenny Clark looks like he's worth the money and worth the trade. I like what I see in him so far. Pollard up the middle on this one. He hasn't lost a rep. The rest of these guys are losing some reps, but he hasn't lost one. Okay, on this particular play, he shoots to his left. Yeah, his first step to his left. Boom. Both 96 and him, they both got pushed out of there this time. All right. So that was a good little, I think it's like set up like a draw play, but what are they doing? Are they thinking pass? I think they thought they set him up for that same pitch that they did before. I think he was reading pitch. Let me see what Dak does. Dak looked like he's passing. That's why. It's a draw play. I don't hold a draw play against him. So you can say he lost that rep if you want. I won't. Nothing happened. He didn't do anything anyway, but nothing happened. But he did nothing wrong. I think he was reading pass, trying to get upfield. Same here. Just violent, man. So as these play, right? When you think about, and just keep looking for 97 for those of you who are out there, but when you think about the trade from that aspect and say, look, the way we've been getting taken out of the playoffs has been strong, rugged teams, runs to the edges, then play action off of that because they can keep us unbalanced. And we've been having issues because we haven't had guys who can anchor. When you see a guy like this who really, right now he's getting held like a mug, but when you see a guy like this who really can anchor, you know he knows how to play the run, and he know that you can depend on him to do it in a way that like I said before, you could be a force player that's a wall that we can depend on. Where if you're a defender and you're saying if they running towards Clark, we ain't worried about it. We all can play aggressive in the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? Like you can play aggressively everywhere else because Clark is out there. You know what I mean? That's the type of player he is. So he's a player that instantly makes everybody else more confident and makes everybody else better. He does. Now, these are all pass plays. I told you guys before, for those who just joined up, I'm not really worried about the pass plays because I'm not looking at him to be a pass rusher. But he will get you some sacks due to his ability to hustle. But we're going to go through the rest of this game. After we get through this game, this is a deep pass for Dak. Good shit. So this might be a good long drop back. He does pretty much nothing in the pass game. Yeah. Boom. So far, yeah, he's done nothing. I mean, I think he can do some stuff, but not against us, I don't think. You're not pass rushing against these guys. Well, he hasn't so far. Let's see what we got here. Get the fuck out of here. What the hell? He gets double team. He get chop block, really. That's damn near chop block. Yeah, damn near. Damn near chop block. But he's double team. But he's still pressing Martin back with half his body. Like, he don't even have his legs to drive because Biadasz has his knees locked. He can't even drive his feet. He just uses upper body strength to move Martin into the gap. You see that? He forklifts Martin into the gap and then still tackling. Jesus Christ. This is not easy to do, folks. Boom. It's not easy to do right there. That's nastiness. You nasty, man. They got 3 tackles so far, 1 face mask though, but 2 tackles for a loss, so 1 no gain and 1 tackle for a 2-yard loss, and then a tackle right there for about 3 yards. See what happens on this play. Let's see what he does here. I didn't see that one. Ew, Jesus Christ! So he forces this incompletion by beating Martin. Boom. Gets rid of Martin like within seconds. I just said you ain't pass rushing it against these guys. He proved me to be a liar. Yeah. Push and pull. That's all power right there. Strong, violent hands. These are the things that Mozzie and Toya and these guys will learn just by watching. When they sitting in the film room watching him, they're like, this is what it looked like. This is what you should be doing. Prepare however he's preparing. Eat whatever he's eating. That's what leadership is. So he ain't got to be talking. Just be a guy that's like about your business to a point where everybody around you can say, that is the standard right there when you look at it. We haven't had that. We had a lot of Madonnas, a lot of Hollywood figures. We haven't had that. I'm not just talking about Parsons. I think Lawrence is one of them too. Really do. Craziness, man. Let's watch what happened here. Oh, he did it again. Collapse the pocket this time. Let's see what's happening here, boom. All right, so Paris, I think, on the front side. Who's that? Smith on the front side. Smith. Smith got caught inside, broke contained real quick, and Dak saw it. But had it stayed contained, had it 91 contained right there with Tyron and didn't take this inside move, Clark either gets a sack or he took Zach Martin straight to his lap. I'll tell you that. So far, he's affected quite a few plays. I would say he has affected maybe 8 plays, 9 plays directly in a run, and then I don't remember how many pass plays, but it's a couple. It's been a couple. I've seen 2 or 3 good pass rushes so far. So here he goes and looks for the action with the double team. Nothing happens though, but he went and look for the action itself. Look at this. Let's watch the linebackers. Do they even bother biting on this? They do. Yeah, he really did bite. It seemed like those moves, those misdirections only work on us. It seemed. That's why I said, let me see if they linebackers bit because we always bite on those, John. All right. So Clark is being forced now. So him and Van Ness is playing contain. Clark's job, I'm assuming he's going to occupy this B gap, push these guys in the backfield. But you see where all the numbers are inside. They're left to Clark. So 93, 96, 26, 55, 37, 34. They're all inside Clark. Yeah. False. My bad, Clark. Bad John. But you see, he's the force player on this side. Meaning, it's his job to make sure this ball don't got nothing to do over here, and that's what he does. Look at that perfect. Even though this is a touchdown, but he does his job very well here. Watch this. His job is to turn this ball back inside. You mean you can't? Pollard should not be able to run past you on this one because you have to seal that and turn this ball back inside. Both you and Van Ness. Let's see what happens. Oh, Van Ness. Yep. Turn this ball back inside, which it does, but 93 got moved, 96 got moved, and Tony Pollard still gets himself a touchdown. But it wasn't because that's why he said, hey, my film speak for itself. And he ain't lying. Yeah, he ain't lying. That's crazy work. 2-point conversion. Yeah, does it again. If this was a run play, look at who's that? Smith that has to deal with. Watch the hands. Just watch the pain. Smith looked like he hurting on that one, man. And Smith strong as hell. So how strong is he? Smith all pro. He made him earn it though. And this even on a play fake, you getting tore up like that. Yeah, that's why I like to watch every snap because like you get to see the full effect. You don't get to see the full effect with a highlight. If I just showed you his highlights so far, you'd be like, he's okay, right? But who's going to take the time to do this? Like this is where it matters, and this is where I think it's a difference. This is where the difference is. This is pass rush, not really happening. Smith has won every rep against him pass rushing. Martin hasn't, but Smith has. So he's had his success rushing the passer versus Martin, but he's had his success versus both of them versus the run. They haven't stopped. They haven't moved him at all. Nobody's beaten him yet versus the run at all. I mean, not one play, unless you want to count the draw play. Nobody's beaten him at all. Not one rep. Now, you've gotten yardage while he's out there, but it ain't because he ain't doing his job. That's wild. Let's see what happened up here. This is him versus Smith again. Let's see what Smith do to him up here. Boom. Smith got it. Oh, he trying to do a stunt. So outside player, I don't know who that was, what his number is. He's wedging. He's hitting Smith. Now they got to exchange. Smith was holding on that play too. You see, he couldn't get it off him. He's supposed to be able to get out of there. Smith got him. Boom. And yeah, you see that. That's why Smith got spun around because Smith was holding. I don't blame y'all holding him too, man. He been yoking you up trying to take your lunch money, man. Yeah, get him. Oh man, that's all of them. Okay, folks. So that's all 48 plays that he played in the playoff game. You can already see his impact. His impact speaks for itself. Like you can't say that you can't understand how he controlled that game. You could not run the ball towards him whatsoever the entire game. I can keep going, but you shouldn't be able to run the ball against him. So the way I'm looking at this, right? And the way I look at this trade, as I said earlier, for those who weren't here, I look at this as a plus as far as right now, what do you get? You get a guy that instantly solidifies your defensive line room because you now have Mozzie, who we said we can't lean on Mozzie for a whole season. We wanted to see if we could. We don't know if we could, but I wanted to see him step up. But now he doesn't have to have that marquee role. Now Mozzie is a spell guy for this guy who not only will make Mozzie better just by preparation alone and watching the standard alone, but then he got Solomon Thomas, who now doesn't have to be all world because Solomon Thomas can now be himself, just do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Be a guy that can go up and down the line. Winfrey, same thing. Osa, same thing. Just do your job because he got that in the middle of the field by himself. You just got to be there to clean up. But he gonna make a mess for you, for sure. So looking at that, I'm happy with that aspect because we haven't been losing because teams are throwing the ball all on us, and we need corners. No, we don't. We need linebackers. Not anymore. We need defensive ends. No, we don't. We forget that we drafted Ezraku, who I think is pretty damn good. But when you look at a guy who comes in now, anchors the run, right? We've been losing because we've been getting run on in the playoffs run, and we showed the Green Bay game earlier. I'll show the Baltimore game too, last year's Baltimore game. You know what I'm saying? So the way I'm looking at it now, and the way I look at this trade, you get a guy that helps you immediately as far as the ground game is concerned, and then you're looking at your committee, meaning Sam Williams, who now gets more playing time. Are we saying that Sam Williams is going to replace all of Micah Parsons' stats? No. But can Sam Williams and Ezraku rotate and do that? If both of those guys can do that, in my opinion, you still win as far as the trade is concerned. If your only fall off is Micah Parsons gives you 13 sacks, but Sam Williams gives you 8 and Ezraku gives you 4, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. Okay, so the thing that I read and the way I feel, man, is like if you think that having a guy who shores up the run game and then having two guys who have to now play more and replace Parsons is a bad thing, I don't get how your logic is working. Like where are the forced plays or where are the games where you're saying this is why Micah Parsons. Now he had those games though in his first 2 years, but he was playing more linebacker and he's playing a little bit. The film hadn't caught up to him a little bit either. But he had those games where it's like, oh no, this is why you pay a guy. I go back to, and I'll show you what I mean, because there's a difference between the Micah Parsons you see today and the Micah Parsons who we all fell in love with, right? There's a difference. And I'm not saying this to be talking about his game. His ability is still there. He still can do it. It's just we've had 3 different defensive coordinators. The way Dan Quinn used him his rookie year is the way he should have been used every year. Him being a sole pass rusher is what created a problem. But let me see if I can find this for you real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's called Man Boy. Is this one? Show all. Let me go back. So this is 2022. Let me see if this is the one I'm looking for. It is. I'll mute this. All right. Let me get rid of this intro. Okay. Now, just for those who haven't been watching my channel for very long, you might not have seen this video. So I want those who don't understand why I say Micah Parsons, and this is what I said earlier. Micah, make sure you guys hit the like button, share, subscribe button, all that stuff. But Micah Parsons, when he's playing all over the place like a chess piece, is the best player, best defensive player I've seen, maybe ever. But in the league right now, for sure. So let's watch a little bit of it so I can show you what I'm talking about though. All right, here we go. Make sure y'all can see it. Y'all can. All right, cool. Let me blow this up. Just watch how he's being used in this, right? I muted this for you so you guys should see it. But right now he's at linebacker. Boom. Just sitting there watching and flowing to the ball. He could do this all day, and then you could put him on the edge and he chases the ball down too. But this is probably his best game against Minnesota. This is probably the best game I've seen him play, or one of them. But he was effective from everywhere, like in the pass game, in coverage, and versus the run, everywhere. Boom. Right there, backside, that ball gets cut back to him. He deals with it. Now he's pass rushing. He's occupying the B gap. Like you can kind of see what's going on, but the things that he was doing in this game is what you want him to be doing in playoff games. You see, he's already. I've only showed you 3 plays. He ain't been in the same place twice, one time. Not yet. Boom. They chopped his legs out there. Boom. And we saw this was going to be a thing. We saw this from his rookie year. This was going to be a thing. And that's what bothers with him now. This is what guys do to him. This is why I don't want him solely on the edge. And I said that his rookie year. This was his rookie year when I made this video. So you can see now he's spread out at linebacker. Like he's everywhere. To have a guy like this and move him around like this. This is where you get the benefit of Micah Parsons. He's now taking, this is a tackle for loss in the flat. Boom. Like he was everywhere. He got him a tackle for loss from coverage. You know what I'm saying? That's like a sack. You understand? You get a tackle for loss from coverage. That's a sack. Get it? It's no different. Anywhere he's effective wherever you put him. That was a run to the edge. He's a sideline to sideline guy. Now he's in the middle of the field playing middle linebacker. You know what I'm saying? He's everywhere. Look at this. And look how easy he finds the ball. He makes that look simple as hell. Watch this again. He makes finding this game was his most complete game. People who think I'm nuts, they're like, oh, he can't play linebacker. Then what the hell is he doing in this game? He's not playing linebacker? Well, this was trash. LVE was better. Get the hell out of my face. Boom. This is what he should be doing every game. And I don't care. The film said it. I didn't make it up. This is what he looked like in college. This is how he was used in college. And this is the first game in the NFL that they used him like they use him in college. Another tackle for loss. Yeah, 2 tackles for losses. None of them have anything to do with, none of them got anything to do with the run. His 2 tackle for losses came versus the pass. I think even that one was a tackle for loss. I'm not sure. Let me look at that one again. This outside run. Looked like it's behind the sticks to me. That was a tackle for loss. This one probably like 3-4 yards. But watch how he just gets to the ball though. Boom. No, whoever that is, 99 did a good job keeping him clean. But that's all you should have been doing. You should say, hey, look, this is what Mozzie was doing last year. This defensive holding. This is what Zimmer asked Mozzie to do last year. What 99 is doing here. So watch 99 on this play. 99 is just gonna grab both those guys. Parsons is gonna flow to the ball. Boom, right there. So he makes it so that those guys can't peel off and get to Parsons. Parsons can run free to the ball. And in a playoff game, if you're running the ball, but you're funneling the ball at Parsons like this, or you're moving the Parsons around where they can't quite tell where he's going to be when he comes out of a huddle, that's a different ball game, folks. And that's a different outcome. This is the problem with Parsons wanting the money that he wanted, though. If he did this every season, and this is what the effect of now, I just asked you what Kenny Clark's effect on the game was, and it was massive, right? Micah Parsons' effect on the game so far, this is a rookie, outweighs anything you can see, from what I just showed you in any day. But he also is all over the place and this guy could demand $50 million. That guy, because he's making plays from everywhere. Now he's standing in the A gap. Get what I'm saying? This is how he should have been used. Now he's standing in the A gap, but because they know he can blitz very well, he's a good pass rusher. He makes it easier for everybody else, even when he's not coming forward. Look, he's gonna bail out on this one, get in the zone. But look where they were looking. They slid protection to him on this play. And you see Randy Gregory stunting to that side where he slid to. I don't know why you would stunt to the side that you had him slide to in the first place. That was just a dumb stunt. Why would they even call that? They should have stunned it to the opposite side of the slide. But Parsons is out there in the middle of the field now reading. Boom, in zone. Sees this. Blows this shit up. Boop. Almost gets an interception there. If he just stayed with it, he would have got him an interception on top of this. Look at that. If he just stayed where he was at, the ball was coming right to him. It would have been an easy-ass interception. It came right to him. It got itself an interception. So this guy should be 125 tackle a year, 10 to 15 sack a year, 2, 3, 4 interception a year guy with tackles for losses galore, pressures galore, and he's forcing third and longs because everything else in the middle of the field, tackle to tackle, 15 yards deep, he on it. There's a linebacker right next to him. That's LV right next to him. Right? This ain't even his play to make. 35 was his guy. He run. Look, LV's jogging to his own man. That's LVE man right there. LV read the ball, read that so late that by the time he read it, Parsons was already to it. By the time LV's feet go forward, Parsons is already to the ball. Do you understand? That's how Demo's playing middle linebacker right now. But why do you take a guy that's doing this and say, you know what I should do next year? We know what we should do with him? Let's never do any of this shit again. Look at that twist right there. That was crazy to me. This is crazy. So watch this. Boom. Him and Randy Gregory twist there. Boom. Beautiful. Still get a pressure there. Crazy work. So for those who haven't seen this film, this is the best player I've ever seen. Best middle linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to call him, I've ever seen. Boom. There's a tackle for loss there. So you can see his effect on the run. You can see his effect on games. Now he's out in coverage, sort of like playing outside linebacker or will linebacker right here. Boom. That is the play you should run. Judy out there, you should do that. That's what you should do. That's what you should do. You know what I'm saying? You should do that. You should go, you should throw the ball and say, hey, I got a linebacker on Judy in the slot. Let's go. Parsons erases this shit. How many linebackers can erase that? How many rookie linebackers can erase that? And you telling me you couldn't figure out how to keep him at linebacker, or you thought that he's not a people who scream that he's not a linebacker are idiots to me. He is such a good linebacker that he sat out for 2020 and still went top 12 at linebacker, not at defensive end. Okay. Here he is still in the edge and doing his job, getting the job done on that one. But again, everywhere, all his film, he's lining up all over the place. All over the place. Here he goes again. He is a linebacker who is an exceptional pass rusher, folks. But now did he get a pass rush here? Did it come from the edge? People think that pass rushing can only be done from the edge. Where did he get his sack from? From the linebacker. So imagine a linebacker who might not even be getting read. He got 4 down linemen. So now he's 1 of 5, not 1 of 4. And you know what I mean by that is it's harder to get there when you are just Randy Gregory and your linebackers are dropping back and they're not a threat. So if you're Micah Parsons standing with Randy Gregory, you're 1 of 4 linemen. When you're 1 of 5, you're the blitzer. Not only is Micah Parsons getting double teams, but he's not even getting necessarily recognized every time he's at the line of scrimmage. Well, now he would. But if he's standing 5 yards off ball, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he's doing. But here, in space, that guard got to deal with Micah Parsons because of the way they split. You see how the line splits? So who's that? Bohanna? Bohanna's going to split out to his left, right? And then Gregory's going to take an outside move. So that's leaving 66 ISO with Micah Parsons on a spike Mike blitz. Caesar Wright. Or Caesar, I think that's Caesar Wright. That's Caesar Wright. Boom. Killed him. 2 seconds. Crossover. Done. This is what Micah Parsons right here would be the best player you've ever seen. If they don't use him this way, I ain't mad at the trade. Now look, now he's outside, ISO'd again. This is a forced player. See what I'm saying? Now look, when I say ISO, everybody is at the center or to the left. Micah is over there by his goddamn self. Let's see what happens. Of course you're gonna run at that, right? All right, gets upfield, reads, boom. This is a pass play. So he already broke contain. He did this wrong, honestly. He broke contain and then chases the ball. Still get himself a sack, though. What are we talking about here? His 2 sacks, did any of them come from, well, this one came from defensive end, but it wasn't just a pass. That wasn't a pass rush. Here he's in the A gap. Watch this. So he got 2 sacks in this game. Boom. That's a stunt. Here's 3 sacks right here. Or is it 3 sacks in this game? I don't know if he had 3. Maybe he had 2 sacks and a tackle for loss. But there go another sack. At least 2 of them right there. Right there. That wasn't he wasn't playing defensive end there either. He was standing up in the A gap. I thought he had to be at the end in order to be effective. Where is he effective? In the A gap. And he got a running back trying to block him. Get the hell out. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. He would kill if you just unleashed him and did this with him. I would pay this guy whatever he asked for. This one right here. I would pay him whatever he asked for. Now look at this. Look at that. Did you see that? I don't think y'all paying attention. Now he had linebacker again. I thought he can't play linebacker, but he had linebacker again. Now you see 77. 77 did a good job getting off to seal this block. He had to reach him, right? Look at this. He thought he did his job, but the flash went right by him. Look at this. 77. He got up there. Parsons is already on it, right by. He's past him already to the point where 77 trying to trip him. He's like, I got to trip this motherfucker. Then look. Then he did it again right here. But he skips past him. Still gets to the ball. That's a sideline to sideline free flow linebacker. That's like shit Ray Lewis used to do to the Giants. Boom. Then here. What? Come on, man. This is why you seal the edge too. But you see, I think Dorrance is going to set the edge. And then he's just going to kill all that in the middle of the field. Now, this guy, that guy right there, was one of the best players I've ever seen. That guy right there, one of the best players I've ever seen. Not the guy we've been seeing for the last 2 years who just trying to get sacks from the edge. That's not it. that we don't need a pass rusher. Even though they pay pass rushers more, we need an all-world guy like this. He would be the best defender on the field, and then he would be worth his money because this guy's making anybody can play with him. Anybody can play with this guy. We got LVE playing with him. Anybody can play with this guy. You give him the talent that we got right now around him, and he's playing this way, they're moving around like this, and he's with Demo when Demo's healthy. Come on, man. This is one of the best players I've ever seen. And then on 3rd and long, he get to do what he does because he's earned it. You know why he gonna do this more? He'll get more sacks playing linebacker. Why? Because he'll get either tackles for losses when he's stopping the run, but when he stops the run, he'll get more 3rd and longs. And then he's able to do what he wants to do, which is eat. But when you can move the ball up the field all you want by running at him, he ain't getting pass rushing opportunities. Not as many as he should. Boom. This time they run right at him. Gets rid of his guy like he should, but he's even wrong on this one. He undercut this and lost the edge control, but still, his pursuit and his speed on this one, he's able to just recover because Jordan Lewis comes down there and forces his guy to just slow up a little bit. But this guy was like, this Parsons was amazing to me, man. Like I've never seen nothing like this. This video, if you guys want to watch it on your own or hear the sound, it's like it's called Man Boy. So just go type in Akoye Media and then Man Boy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But his effect on the game is immense when he plays this way. We don't use him this way, and he hasn't been used this way in about 2 years. Last year, I thought his pass rush was enhanced because of the A gap, the double A gap scheme that Zimmer used. So he looked better as far as pass rushing. But this is Micah Parsons. This is the Micah Parsons that we needed. This is the Micah Parsons that can't be dealt with. That's that Micah Parsons. The one that we have now, or the one that we had, he wasn't doing these things. Now, after he gets paid, do I think that he might have something to prove now that he's been paid because he's on a different team. So maybe he has something to prove. But the guy that was moving around and killing from every angle and everywhere is the guy that we needed. And this is not the guy that we traded. Okay. Because this is not how he was being used here. So if you're not going to use him this way, now look at that. Look at that. He gets a free sack right there, just off of being smart. You know what I mean? Not playing hero ball. He's just doing his job. He just did his job on that one. And being patient got him what he wanted in the first place, man. But like I said, he just puts his foot in the ground here and ain't gonna beeline to the quarterback right there. Boop. 74 already dead. I seen that when his foot was up. Yeah, that guy right there, a difference maker. Difference maker. Difference maker. You run at him. You see how they run at him now? He's out of there. You run at him then, he's stopping shit. So it's just a different player. It's a different ball game. Now, although the film wasn't caught up with him on it yet, but you can see even here he gets rid of that guy and they blew him up. But you can't block him. Even the pulling guard, you can't block this guy. Yeah, if he was at linebacker, you can't block him in the gap. You got to surprise him. That's the only reason he got pancaked on that one. He did get killed on that one. I just put that in there to show that he's human. Let's see what this play does. I was showing LV's trash on that one. Everybody, this is why you watch film. Because we was like, LV ain't give up nothing. And then, yeah, he did. That wasn't incomplete because LV. This is a touchdown right here. Boom. LV got cooked. Cooked. Done. That was a touchdown. Easy. He's gone. Funny as hell. But this is what I'm working on, folks. So you guys can see I'm taking the history. I'm going to do the Akoye of Micah Parsons. So I'm going to take his history, the history of Micah Parsons for the Cowboys so far, and we're going to discover how we got here and what this really means. But when I say I won't miss him, I'll be lying if I said that. We're definitely going to miss 11. You can't just not miss the guy. He's a all-world player. However, stopping the run is more important than getting sacks. And he was the best answer to stopping the run, but he didn't want to do that anymore. He didn't want to play linebacker anymore. If he wanted to play linebacker, guess what he would have played? Linebacker. You know why? He would have got on the mic and said, I want to play linebacker. He never said that. His brother said it, but he never said that he wanted to play linebacker. Because if he said, I'm a linebacker, he would be a linebacker. Meaning if he said, hey, I'm not just a defensive end, I can do other things too to help this team, then they would ask the coach why they're not doing that. And then he would probably get opportunities to do that. Like when we started talking about not using him versus the run after the Bills game, they started using him versus the run in Miami the very next week, I think. But every time we complained, myself, that season, since we on it, I'm gonna do that one too. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna do one more. I want to show you like what happened after and why I started saying this. Like what happened after the Bills game. This is just a little different. Watch this. The Bills game, I'm gonna show you the Bills game first. Let me see what year that was. 23, I think, right? Was it 23 we didn't have linebackers? Yeah, that was 23. Let's go back to regular season. It's not post, it's red. Boom. Week 13, I think it was. Bills. Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you Micah Parsons. In fact, no, I know what to do. I think I got a film on that. Let me go back. I think I did a film on it myself. Another one. Oh, I guess I didn't. All right. Get that. I ain't got time. I'll go back. Yep, this is Miami. Played 60 plays versus Miami versus defense. 58 plays on defense. Play type. All right, we ain't gonna watch all 58 of these. I ain't that crazy. But you see his effect here. Immediately on the edge there, he playing, aggressive and off the edge. Let's see where else they use. They use him in the middle here. Oh damn, I ain't even showing y'all shit. I'm talking to y'all like y'all can see it. Hold on. Effect there against the pass. Ew, he still got that. Damn. Might have destroyed him. But this is how you're supposed to be used. He used him somewhat like that this game, moving him around a little bit, but he just didn't do it enough. Dan Quinn got too hungry with pass rush because of how much success he had the first 2 years, and he got himself a job using Micah. Micah was his sacrifice to give himself a job because you see those two. These are good pass rushes, though, right? This is a pressure. Good rushes on both plays, but he threw accurate balls on both those. This time they beat him. Boom. Out the end zone. That's ugly. Ew. That's nasty right there. Can't do nothing about that. This is Parsons and Clark. Right now he's forced. He's backside contained. They just letting him run across the ball. Ew. Nobody bothers to trap him on the backside. So what teams have done who watch the film, they would take a tight end and bring him back across the line of scrimmage and slow down the backside container, and they start cutting back off these because you see what his backside pursuit is. It's crazy. Like he can pursue from anywhere. Green Bay Packers fans who get him, you better hope that you got a coach who's smart enough to move Micah Parsons around. If you bring him in to be just a pass rusher, that's you wasting his talent. You're wasting his talent. You see my point here. This guy who's setting the edge over here, watch Clark. All right. That's where you want Parsons, where Clark is, like flowing to the ball on early downs. You don't need Parsons setting edges doing this shit here. You don't need them doing that. Why are you taking your fastest, best pursuit guy? I mean, I've been saying this for years. I ain't gonna keep saying it. You know what it is. Make sure y'all can see. Oh, y'all still can't see shit. Oh, y'all can see. Did I freeze? If I froze, they might have froze the stream. Can y'all still see? Let me know. Boom. Micah Parsons, middle of the field, forced incomplete pass. Oh, so I'm good. All right, I'm going back over there. I just need to make sure. Yeah, I think he played off ball probably like 2 series or something, if that. I don't even think it was that many. Jordan Lewis on that one. I miss J. Luke, man. Even here, there's still too much defensive end. Like he still was just trying to get pressure. Although in this particular game, you're playing a quarterback that's not a runner that they don't even want to run. So I can even understand why that would be the move. I understand that. Now he's in the A gap. Beats the shit out of him. Incomplete pass. Like I mean, the way he plays when you move him around, especially when I don't know why you don't want him in the A gap every play, but I mean, when he's in the A gap, I love him. Like when you put him in the A gap here, right now they're playing it's like a 4-1 a 4. I guess you got 2 linebackers. You call Micah Parsons a linebacker, even though he technically was playing like a lineman on these plays. Boom. Still gets some pressure, but they complete this one. They was playing like a 5-2-5 this season. That's what it was. Or 5-1-5. Because sometimes he was the only linebacker on the field. But they playing 5-2-5 on this one. He's gotten A gap pressure in almost every one of these. Now they still completing balls, though. He getting now. Aren't these pressures adding up? When they say he got 100 pressures, wasn't that we counted like 4 pressures? These are still complete passes. He got a sack and a lot of pressures this game. But the ball on those plays that he's even getting pressures. Pressures don't mean the ball ain't moving forward. On those plays that he's getting pressures, the ball is moving. We need him tackling the ball, and we need him sacking the ball, obviously, but also affecting the ball and coverage and using your pursuit skills to make sure that a 5-yard gain or a 5-yard run is a 5-yard run versus a big play because you're not going to run away from him like that right there. You understand what I'm saying? Look at this. This is beautiful here though. Look, he's pass rushing here. The ball is out. He ain't even in the shot. First man to the ball. That guy right there. Micah to one side, to the right. D-Law. Boom. Wilson gets pancake, but that's because they don't got no linebackers on the field. They got Clark on the field. This was nuts to me. Nuts. Oh my God. It's like you want to lose. I don't. It's like you see this formation? You got bigs out there. We got bigs versus smalls. Number one. No linebackers. You get to the second level, ain't nothing out there but Clark. That was crazy. Dan Quinn was a psycho. Then Osa get like rolled out of there. Come on, Osa. They're gonna knock Osa ass out of there. Boom. Osa gone. And then they gone. That was horrible. And I'd be mad as hell if I was everybody in the secondary or the anywhere else that got a tackle because y'all don't want to play sound football. It's wild. They still ain't put him up there. Like you see, they running right up to Giza. They not running at Micah Parsons. He's like, nah, we gonna keep him on the outside. Boom, he got beat there. They played a game with him there. Craziness. Mm. Off the edge again. Let's watch our linebackers. Clark is gone already. Clark out to play. Now it's just Parsons and the fullback. So now they second half, they doing it. Everybody's sealing the back, and you see how they went right for his knee. These are the things that I even said, like, if you want longevity in your career, you're a little man that's taking not a little man, not little 6'3", 250, but a little defensive end that's taking a beating on the edge. And then you get hit the wrong way like that while your foot is planted in the ground, you tore up anyway. And then you're not running 4-3. We want Parsons, healthy. We want him flowing sideline to sideline if he's here. This guy right here is the guy that I would pay, like the guy that they're moving around. If he's not moving around, he's not worth the money. I think that's all of it. Is that all she wrote? That can't be all of it because I ain't see certain plays I'm looking for. Damn. Hold on. You said I really hope Green Bay keeps him at defensive end. Me too. Me too. Micah was a better linebacker to me than pass rusher. He was. Agreed, but Jones is not on the field, homie. All I'm saying. Oh, y'all going in over there. All right. I've been on here for 3 hours, just ad hoc. I will do a film on this. I wanted to just jump in and talk to y'all because I was in Vegas and I said I had so much to say. Still haven't said it all, but intentionally because I'm going to put a piece together before I'm trying to do it by Wednesday. I got a lot of editing to do to get it done. But I'm gonna start today. And with that said, look out for it. I'm going to do a piece. It's going to be called Micah Parsons Akoye, like how we got here. So we're going to break that down, all of it. If you want an idea as to how I'm going to do it or how it's going to look up Mike McCarthy's Akoye, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you got it. But I got to roll because I'm tired. All right. But let's talk to y'all soon. Make sure y'all use the Cash App, man. Support the channel so I can support y'all. But I'm out, man. Appreciate it. Peace.